Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Red Leaf Retrocast. I'm Tori and I got tasked with doing the intro this week, so I apologize in advance. This is the Worldwide Weebs, the most international anime podcast of all time. And with me I of course have JD as always.
How you doing?
And Hickey.
Hi.
And Joe.
Hey.
Well, you can find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, or pretty much wherever podcasts go. And we also accept questions. So if you have any questions to ask, you can ask us questions on either our mails, our Twitter, or if you want, you can also join our Discord. And I'm sure JD will put all these links in, everything we need.
Absolutely.
And of course... Yep. And this podcast is brought to us by David's Tea. And if you order online, there's free shipping when you spend $50, though they only ship in NA. And am I to understand that this has 3 free tea samples with every order, JD?
Yes, every time you order something online, when you spend at least 50 USD, and it also includes identical for CAD, Canadian dollars, you get 3 free tea samples. They just throw them in there.
What a deal.
Yeah.
Get on that.
Yeah, and
Only 2 of us can take part in.
Yeah. 2 out of the 4
Get
of us
on
can
that.
get it.
And even if you can, just travel to the US or Canada.
Yeah.
Just
Fine.
move here, it's fine.
Well, Tori's moving to Canada.
work.
That's already been decided.
Us Americans, we
Decided by
really
you.
like immigrants. I mean, build that wall or whatever.
Or whatever, yeah. I doubt I'm going to move to Canada, though, for real.
No, Tori, it's already done.
What a party pooper.
You just want to
part
come
of
to.
it
You just want to
did
come
not
to
understand?
West Norway.
No, I don't.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is gonna
Remember, Brazil will always welcome you, Tori. Remember that.
Yeah, welcome
No,
to
thank you.
hell.
It's not
Welcome
hell.
to hell.
It's not hell. It's a good place.
You're right. It's too warm to be hell.
Oh, that's true.
Anyways, so why don't we catch up with everyone, huh? So Hickey, how you been?
Sick. I'm feeling well lately. But I was sick for 3 weeks now. I got a normal cold, and then it developed to the fucking winter disease. And I was down with the flu for like 2 weeks. Fever. I couldn't watch anime. I couldn't watch the Sailor Moon that we need to review lately. But I'm feeling better. I'm having coughing crisis, so if I cough during the podcast, I'm sorry in advance. But I'm feeling way better. I took some medicine and I think I'll be good to go.
That is good. That is good. JD, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully, finally. I can finally enjoy the summer again. Life is good again. Personal issues are almost done and over with. About 5 minutes before we started the podcast, my battery had a failure. So now the battery in my computer no longer works. So if I ever unplug it, it's the computer shuts down immediately. But in better news, I'm about to go on vacation this coming week to Aruba. Anyone been to Aruba?
Nope.
Aruba,
Nope.
Bahama, come on, pretty mama.
Yeah, exactly. Part of the song.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I'll probably be playing a lot of handheld video games and reading some manga, specifically Seven Seeds and Berserk.
That's fucking right, JD.
Read that Berserk.
Ooh.
Read Berserk, you fuck. Well, Tori, I guess I'll toss the question to you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Not much been going on. Just started school again. Did my first week, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We'll see what this year has in store for me. Hopefully, only good things, or at least mostly good things, or at least okay things. At least not stuff that makes me want to kill myself. That'd be nice.
Are you graduating this year?
I'm not graduating, but this is like my final year of school, and after that I'm gonna go into like internships and stuff like that. So
So that's when you're
actually
gonna
working.
intern in Toronto, right?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, if you can get me an internship in Toronto, then maybe. I'm not gonna completely rule it out, but
I might have that power.
Might.
We'll see. Might.
I might know a guy or me.
We will see.
Would you like to internship for me?
Sure, do you pay well?
Free room and board and food and maybe, I don't know. We can work something out.
That sounds good. I'll consider it.
I don't think it'll
I'll
look
check my
very good on
options
your
and
resume,
consider
though, going forward.
Probably not. But I'll consider it anyways. If everything else fails, we have a deal.
All right. Sounds great. I'm in.
Yeah. So, Joe, how you doing?
Well, I've been having a nice little fight with one of my buddies from just from this mic setup after that horrible, heinous podcast we put out last time. So I hope my mic sounds better. But
Our fourth most listened to podcast, ironically enough.
out of what, 6? That's not.
That includes the gaming one, so it's almost. I think it's 14 total.
Oh,
Jesus Christ! All right.
What?
that's a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's the magic, man.
Sure.
It's the fucking magic.
I've spent most of my time digging around in the Discord group and playing Skullgirls with anyone I could, basically as often as possible.
Yeah,
including
thanks for
Tori,
kicking my ass.
and you're welcome, baby. Including Tori and Hickey, but that's really it for me. I guess I'll get right into this. In this podcast, we're going to answer some community questions, which we didn't have to fight too hard to get, but I might have called some people out to get them. We're going to do our usual host segment, so that's like, Tori's quest update, Hickey's everything watch for some godforsaken reason, and JD's shonen update, which I don't know if he's at the time to do. We'll hit we'll hit our only discussion topic, which is our summers in anime, something that JD will describe better later when we actually start doing it, because I'm still not 100% concrete on it. This was suggested by one of our listeners and fellow anime caster, Meowth900, member of our Discord, and she's one of the hosts over at Something Anime Podcast. Link will be down in the description or wherever JD's going to throw them.
Absolutely.
Fall is coming ever so close, and school is starting up again, unless you're like, some of us in the workforce and you never actually stopped working.
True.
So I guess it's a good time to cover what we've been doing in terms of, summer and anime we like to watch in the summer.
And that's the
which will bring
topic.
us-
Does that answer your question?
Not really. But that'll bring us right into our retro anime of the episode, which is Sailor Moon. And just something else suggested from one of our listeners. I believe it was Hickey's friend.
Yes.
Few
One of
people
our
in Brazil wanted to do this to us.
Every Brazilian ever wanted us to do it.
I don't
was
know
what
that
Saint
many
Seiya, but
people.
No.
Sure you do.
I'm not sure. I might. I don't
So
know.
JD, it's
Sure you do.
it's to my understanding that we have a 5-star review we're gonna read.
Yeah, I kept
Hey.
forgetting about it. It's been there for a couple months now.
Fucking prick.
Yeah.
Well, I
You
mean,
need
it's
to tell people that they love us.
Yeah.
yes, we definitely need more reviews, whether it be on iTunes or Google Play or wherever. Leave us one. We will definitely read it. I don't care if it's 5 stars or not. I'd prefer more feedback, and I think we'd all agree with that one. So this was by one of our listeners, Semibolt. Great,
okay.
and bear with us. This is pretty long. I've actually split this in half to only cover his anime review for our sake. So, you're welcome. Great anime and gaming cast with likable hosts. Since this is now anime and gaming podcast that have different hosts, except one guy, I'll review each accordingly. This is where I skip to the anime part. Retro Weebcast. Unlike the gaming community, I'm heavily into the wonderful world of Animu, and can say this is my second favorite podcast that talk about / reviews anime. Plus, this podcast is consistent and won't go 5 months without posting anything. Each host is very diverse in taste, which creates some very interesting discussion, and I really appreciate that they take the time to talk about topics that most anime casts dance around, skip in fear of offending someone, or just say, nah, you don't want to hear us talk about that, which annoys me. It doesn't sound scripted or edited to hell. You can tell the conversation feels genuine, which I really appreciate since they don't sound so robotish. They also all have different views about certain anime and will disagree about things, but are able to clearly state their opinion without having flame wars or circle jerk about how an anime is flawless. I may disagree with something they say, but I don't feel attacked. And since they give clear reasons why they dislike something, I can understand their thought process way better, which lets me be able to respect their opinion even if they hate or love something I don't. It's also really nice they talk about what they know and don't start a whole conversation about something they don't comprehend. That triggers me a lot when people do that. Parentheses, lol. Just like the gaming cast, the sound is good. They cover a lot of different genres and topics, which keeps it from feeling like just another podcast episode. Definitely recommend this cast to people that want funny and insightful conversations that feel fresh. And I like how both gaming and anime communities are under one podcast. Well, thank you, Semi. That is very thoughtful. I appreciate the review, and it was long and insightful.
Can I just say something?
Now play Skullgirls with me.
Just say something.
I only gave you the fucking game, dude.
Sammy. The fuck, dude. Second favorite anime cast.
That review was not rigged. Okay? We did not blackmail him.
Totally.
Now it sounds like we blackmailed him.
I don't know what you're talking
It's
about.
way worse.
I don't know what you're talking about. Let's move on.
I did not slip him money under the table.
No, it's Semi.
Him.
If
Oh no, wait.
just from talking to him in the Discord, he would give you money under the table by accident.
Yes, he would. You slip him
All right, I'll
money
give you
under the
30 bucks.
table.
I'm not going to take more than 20. Okay?
Oh, man. You slip money under the table to him, and he slip you back change. It's like, what? Wait, what?
Thanks, Emmy.
At
We
least he
appreciate
gives
it.
fair deals.
Yeah, very much appreciated. So, we actually got a bunch of community questions. Kind of sent the word out for anybody that wants to, ask us some things. And I was also hit with a few questions myself. And I'm looking forward to this. This is our first time we're going over this topic. So, Hickey, take it away with the first question.
Yes, our first actual podcast question is from Skiff, and he asks, why do you all hate good anime? And I'm gonna answer it with, well, my dear friend Skiff, as you know, anime was a mistake and CG is a fucking insult to life. That's why. Thank you.
Good reasoning.
It's a very
You
good
gotta cite
reasoning.
sources, man. Come on.
That was
Miyazaki.
Miyazaki saying.
Ghibli.
Yes.
The founder of fucking Ghibli.
Obviously, nothing's good anymore, so you can't hate what never was.
Okay.
I can honestly say I don't hate good anime. That's why everything that's bad on my mal is scored low. That's why everything you like is scored low, except for that 60% we agree on. But I mean, whatever, I guess.
And I mean, obviously, I don't hate good anime. Because if I hate an anime, it's obviously not good. Because I have perfect taste.
Because working sucks.
I haven't watched it, but it probably does. All right then. Next question comes from Semi-Bolt. A lot of people say the original Dragon Ball Z looked great, but Dragon Ball Super looks horrid. Do older anime tend to have better animation or move more than newer anime, or do people have the nostalgia glasses on? Well, Semi, there are very many reasons there, but to keep it simple, I haven't seen Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, so I can't really comment on it. But yes, you're definitely onto something with nostalgia glasses. You do have the crowd that will obviously say that the older one was always superior in every way, and a lot of times that might be, like even saying animation was better, and that is very often, or can be, due to nostalgia glasses. But there are many reasons, and like I said, I haven't watched it, so I can't really comment on the overall looks of either of those shows.
Well, in terms of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, I think with movement in animation, Dragon Ball Super's better just because it's newer but if we get into character art, then yeah, it looks horrid. Do older anime tend to have better animation?
No.
No. We can look at Ashita no Joe as example A for that.
I think older shows tend to have better art, but far worse animation
Yes.
because they're using one panel for longer. In the case of Cell or anything that's Cell, so they're gonna do that, and they're gonna use it for like 5 or 6 frames instead of just 2, 3, so they can spend more time on it and get the same effect. As for animation, there's very, very rare examples of older anime having better animation than newer anime. I mean, you have to, cherry pick from both sides. In general, no, people tend to just have nostalgia glasses on because that's what they grew up watching. So that's what they're used to seeing, and their brain just kind of puts them back in that time where they were young and they were just comfortable. For me, again, older anime tends to have better art, but worse animation.
Yeah, I think
would
it's
agree.
more something with nostalgia glasses. I don't remember Dragon Ball Z having good animation, and I didn't watch Super, so I don't have an opinion on that. But definitely, animation is not only an art, but it's also technology, and it advanced a lot in the past couple of years. Not only that, but it became cheaper to produce, and the equipment became cheaper. So you have more anime coming out with good animation. Even the bad shows have good animation, way better animation than the older ones. Of course, you have older ones like Joe said that have better animation than a lot of newer ones. But even nowadays, even the Chinese cartoons look good, look well animated. Of course, they suck, but that's another another subject.
Yeah, that I'd have to agree with Joe with art from the past is much better, and as Hickey just stated, the animation is just because technology has gotten to a point where it's much easier. But now we're seeing, at least in my opinion, we're seeing lazy character art and lazy backgrounds most of the time. The only one that pops into my mind in recent memory is something that's going on now, and that's Made in Abyss, with the background art being fantastic.
It's so reminiscent of Ghibli.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Dude.
really is.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, you probably didn't watch the video I posted, like from kind of about. I mean, that is exactly the like Inspired is the background studio that does the backgrounds, and the founder of Inspired is ex Ghibli.
Well, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
The backgrounds are one of the reasons I'm actually probably going to watch that show.
Oh, they are beautiful. They are absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I agree. I also agree with Senpai on the whole, like old art. I think old art or old art styles at least, or old character designs. Because I think, I mean, come on, they actually had noses back in like the 90s and stuff.
Make pointy
That was
noses
nice.
great again.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not a big fan of the flat faces. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't like the dumpy fat faces that's going on now.
No.
But I guess
Yeah.
that'll drag us right into our next question, which is also from Semi. He's really real avid listener. I like that guy. He's all right.
I like that guy. He's alright.
His best girl.
It's what he's best grill.
His grill.
So him and his milk shacks.
Yeah, you go, Semele.
Yeah. So what anime would you like to see done by Studio Shaft? And Shaft did, for anyone who doesn't know, Monogatari, Madoka Magica, a couple others. So it was, what do you want to see done by Shaft? What manga adaptation to be done by Shaft, which I assume he means manga to anime.
Right.
And then what anime would you want to be remade by Studio Shaft? I'll toss JD the ball first.
The manga adaptation, I would like to see Seven Seeds or something from Urasawa, like 20th Century Boys.
I think 20th Century Boys would be better served by Madhouse than Shaft.
Well,
Yeah.
Madhouse has experience with Urasawa, but Shaft has a lot of experience with giving directors free reign with how they.
And head tilts.
Yeah, but that's kind of the problem because Urasawa, his stories are the type that you basically have to be totally faithful, or they just don't make sense.
Well, in the case of 20th Century Boys, there's a lot of dialogue, and something clicks with Shaft with having exposition be made interesting.
I can feel that
because
they
of head
do
tilts.
they do the best Eason work, so it does make sense.
Yeah. And then anime to remade by Shaft? Let's just throw Berserk out there. Why not?
No.
Oh,
Look, anyone's
no.
better than Milpensy.
Just
All
try.
right?
I don't
Literally
care.
anyone.
No. No.
Tori?
Yeah, well, I mean, what anime would I like to see done by Shaft? Fate. I'm taking the cheap answer.
Me too. I so want it.
I mean, they're doing it, so. But, and with manga, would I like to see them adapt? You know what? I don't read that much manga, so I'm not. Besides, I don't put that much, like, into studios anyway, so to me, it's not really important which studio gets it, so I gotta say, I don't really care. And what anime to be remade by Shaft, again, kind of goes into the same thing. I don't really care.
What a good answer. Hickey, how you feeling about this?
Yeah, what anime I would want to see done by Shaft? I didn't think of anything. A manga adaptation. There's this author, Joe Senpai, is talking us to read it. Is Asano his name? Made Solanin and
Inio Asano?
yeah, the panels I saw, I think Shaft would be a good choice for adapting it. You know, if it doesn't become a Monogatari clone.
Well, it very easily could fall in there. Solanin's very heavy, though, so I don't know how they'd take it. Then again, they did do Three Gods No Lion, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They-
dark
they-
themes aren't exactly out of their realm.
What about anything by Junyui Ito?
Junji Ito?
Yeah.
No.
He already has adaptations, and they're terrible. It's
Well,
very
don't you think
sad.
Shaft could do something better?
I don't think Shaft should touch horror.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that maybe suspense, but horror.
Thought I'd throw it out there.
If we're,
PA Works should do it.
if we're gonna talk about horror, I don't know. I think maybe Bones would do
Oh,
good
yeah.
horror.
Oh yeah.
I guess what
And then,
anime?
well, before we get,
Please go on.
please go, Iggy.
Okay, just let me finish. Anime to be remade. I think my romantic comedy snafu would be an interesting one. Again, if it doesn't come out to be a Monogatari clone, that I have. This is a very recent Shaft problem. Every single thing looks like a Monogatari spin-off, and I'm not sure if I like it.
Well, I mean, when you're rolling around in money, you know, it's kind of hard to stop doing that.
Yeah, I know.
Stop
yeah.
doing what works.
Yeah.
No, it's not doing what works, but it's the same. It's the same writer. It's the same character design. For example, the newer movie that is coming out, that came out, the fireworks. There's a guy that looks just like Araragi. He's a clone of Araragi. I was like,
He's incredibly similar. It's nuts.
yeah, he's incredibly similar. I was like, I don't really. When I was looking at it, I was like, oh well, I like Shaft. I would love to see Shaft doing something I like, but Shaft has this recent problem of everything. They use the same artist, aside from adaptations. They usually use the same artist to draw everything, the same narrative structure, and I don't know if I like it, you know.
I do. And I guess it's time for me to answer this question myself. So as for what anime or what manga adaptation I'd want to be done by Shaft, I actually was thinking about this before Hickey said it, but it's another Asano work. It's Goodnight Poon Poon.
Yes, that's that one. I couldn't remember the name.
Because, I mean, the main character is a shittily drawn bird, and that's going to be hard to make audiences buy unless you're an art house studio like Studio Shaft is. there's a lot of very strange quirks in that series, and the character changes shape based on his feelings. They tackle a lot of very heavy, very dark themes. And I feel like Shaft is basically the only studio around right now that'll tackle it and not kind of just turn it into something it's not.
Interesting.
And as for anime to be remade by Shaft, I'm kind of with Tori that I don't really care. But I would love to see Fuka done right and stop making me so fucking angry at that bullshit. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they could just do Beck again and actually finish it this time. Because that'd be fucking sweet too. That'd be so fucking cool.
Nah.
Throw Nana on there as well.
Well, Nana doesn't actually end anyway, so I mean, you can't,
Yeah.
can't get
Oh,
mad at
the
it.
manga didn't. I thought the manga actually ends though.
No, the thing is like the manga. Well, I just want to say it got cancelled. The mangaka, she got hospitalized for a while, and so in that time she didn't write anything.
Oh, bummer.
And when she got out of jail, she got.
Jail, huh?
I am fucking up right now. When she got out of the hospital.
When she got out of
she
jail
was
hospital.
basically-
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
maybe.
she
I
went to
don't know.
jail? What the fuck?
Yeah, you didn't know.
called hospital
When
jail.
she got back out, she basically just said, "I'm not sure if I like." She didn't have a desire to return to making manga, and she's basically kind of left it by saying she might never. So
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. Just went and wrote the greatest josei of all time and then just leaves.
yeah, and it's not even josei, shoujo.
That's bullshit. That's what that is. That's josei. I don't give a shit.
Can't it be both, guys? Can't it be both?
No?
No.
Well, okay.
Yeah, this
No,
is
it is.
shonen and seinen. Yeah, no. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's
It's shonen, seinen,
Why not?
shoujo, and josei.
all
all
right.
ages.
So, next question. I'll take this one. This is from another listener, Crash. Is there a show out there that speaks to you on a personal level? You don't need to go into details if it's a touchy subject. So let's just answer this one first. For me, yeah, there's quite a few. More recently is March Comes In Like a Lion. I spoke into quite a bit of detail on the Anime Arcade podcast when I was on that one. When I was talking about March Comes In Like a Lion, how it's a character who, lives alone, battles demons of loneliness, fending for yourself. His job is a professional sport. That's his livelihood. A lot of pressure. He goes through states of depression, anxiety, going through issues of being just simple things like being sick alone. And I can't relate to it more other than the part where he has dead parents. But my parents live in a different country, so it's not like I can just hit him up on a plane and 4 hours later I'm there. It's not that simple. So that's a show recently that's hit me on a very personal level. How about you guys?
Okay.
Hickey, I think it's time for us to feel very horrible when I start talking about Welcome to the NHK.
No.
This is a show that Crash already knows I'm hyper attached to. It's I really do suggest anyone, absolutely anyone, that has ever felt, like you're the only person in the world, or that someone can come and magically solve your problems. Anyone with any kind of mental tick, or anyone who's too into something, anyone obsessive, please, go out of your way, read the novel, read the manga, watch the series, do everything about this show. It's not light. It's not easy, and it will not hold your hand at all, but you'll attach to it. You'll attach to everything about it. You absolutely owe it to yourself at any point in time to watch this series. It's one of my 3 10s, and my other 2 10s are Evangelion. So that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Welcome to NHK. It's just... It speaks in a personal level. Like, I can't even start describing it. I think for me and Senpai, it came in the right time. There's also a book. It's a Japanese book. I don't know if there's an anime. I know there's a live action movie called Densho Toko, or the train. I'd also speak up with me. but I end up having like a deep bond with a lot of anime. Those two, they're special. I was in a time of my life. I was very young. I was very like I didn't have motivation to do anything. I spent 14 hours, 15 hours of my day watching anime. Would skip school and a lot of stuff because I didn't have a lot of friends when I was a kid. I also had a lot of family issues, and those they touch on that. They showed me something what I was becoming, and also then Shotoko, the guy kind of realizes he likes anime and he likes what he do. He likes what he likes, and it's not him that has to change, but it's him that has to change the people around him. So like since I didn't have a lot of people around me that much, and I was always watching anime, I created a deep bond with the culture itself, and I learned about a lot of my moral values through animation, through Japanese animation.
Tori?
Yeah. For me, it's hard to find something on a personal level, but I mean, it is. You can technically say that a lot of them have, like I have a couple shows like Aria, like Akage no An and Silver Spoon are three examples, but they're all kind of similar, and they hit, and especially Aria hits me, and that's for a reason kind of weird because I'm somebody who's like I'm very into like coming of age stories and just learning to grow up and dealing with that.
It's almost like you're going through it now.
Way in life. It kind of is, right?
Yeah.
Because I haven't I've kind of been one of those people that like I've never really known what to make of my life, and to be perfectly honest, I still don't really. Like I think I have a path set for myself at this point. But there's still that like constant like second guessing. Am I doing the right thing? Is this really what I want to do with my life? And it's kind of like to just see other people kind of grow up and go through exactly that, like where they have to like make a choice. And even though in Aria that choice is kind of a given because this is a goal that Akari has right away, it's kind of like seeing people shape their own future. And there's just something in that like inspires me, seeing people actually make a choice and shape their own future for themselves, which is something that I've definitely felt I had like trouble doing myself, and feel the need to do. I need to like find a path, go down that path, and shape a future for myself.
So there's a second half to this question, and it's: do you think having a connection to a show on such a level is bad? I know having a connection to something on a deep level can be a good outlet for emotion, and in a way it can be a very good thing. But I mean bad in a way of potentially looking over its flaws because it's so immersive for you. Or even if a show hits you in that spot, do you still find yourself being able to look at it with a steady mind when it's all said and done? So, I'd like to first address having a connection on a show isn't bad. By any means. If you connect with it, that's good for you. You're entertained, you're more immersed in the story, you're more immersed in the characters. That's great. That's what anime is supposed to do. Is it not?
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, that's kind of the point why we all watch it. I mean, I'll go on a happy note, since we all seem to be talking about shows that deal with low emotional points. I watch sports anime because I am heavily involved in sports. I was in my youth, I still am now.
Scream about how hype I am all the time.
You what?
I scream about how hype I am all the time.
Oh my!
That's why
Kuroko's
the best sports anime.
I mean, I played tennis in junior high and high school on the teams. Went to tournaments. I was a professional bowler when I was 17 in a foreign country. I played basketball all through college. I played baseball in Texas. You can all imagine how that is. Very competitive. So every I mean, I could go on and on about all these sports. I was in diving at one time. So any sports anime I watch, I connect on a level of just hype. And yeah, I went through the same emotions that the characters go through in the show of just, I want to win. So that's great. That's what you're supposed to go through in a sports anime, and the fact that I personally can connect with it doesn't make the show bad at all. It makes it, if not, better. Now, and I think we can all agree with that. Yes.
I
Yeah.
absolutely can.
So
Yeah, but
going on to this, that next half of the second half of the question, if that makes sense, is does this lead to looking over the flaws of a show? I think for a lot of people, it absolutely does. Me personally, I try to overlook that, and Prince of Tennis definitely comes to mind with a show that has a lot of flaws. You know, teleporting around the court, borderline superpowers.
Borderline, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, things have established where it's might as well be a superpower, but they still in the show establish everything where it's way too realistic. You know, that's just me personally. But I think an average anime viewer, they tend to not look at the flaws. They see it as this I connect on it, so therefore it's perfect. And critically, that's not good. But honestly, as fans, you're generally not supposed to look at things critically. So I honestly don't think it's a problem.
yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think like, let's just make sure that when you like immerse yourself in a show, or when you immerse yourself in the show, I don't think that is a bad thing, right? Because there are certain things. There is a nice feeling to just being able to sit down with a show and not really worry about, you know, does this show look good? Is this shot framed correctly? I'm talking about this from my perspective, but it's like, and just kind of sit there and be like, I like that. I enjoy the way they did that, or I got excited like when I watched Ashton Joe. I get excited watching them box. I get nervous watching Joe walk up into that ring, even though I like realize that this is a show, and really doesn't matter in the end what happens or not. It matters for the story. But I am literally sitting there like having the same experience I would if I were to watch a real boxing match, and sit there and be like, oh, I hope this guy wins. Like, Jesus, this is. So I think it's a good thing. Just kind of chilling on the details, and you know, and kind of just allowing yourself to be swept away by the show, more or less. If I will be able to look at it with a steady mind, and when it's all said and done, I say yes most of the time. However, I will say this, and to everybody I've talked to, I've said this before. I will never ever review Aria the animation, and that's simply because I don't feel like I could. And that's not because I believe in objectivity or any of that, but that is because that show, I call it my favorite piece of fiction, and that show hit me on so many levels, and it became such a special thing to me that at the end of the day, when people started pointing stuff out to me like, oh, the animation was kind of wonky at times and stuff like this, and I quickly realized that that didn't even cross my mind. I didn't pay attention to the animation, which is something I do a lot, enough to actually notice whether or not the birds were kind of skipping along rather than floating through the sky, or like how sometimes they could be a little bit of deformity, like the characters could be a little bit deformative. Like, this didn't register in my mind at all. So, but that is also pretty much, at least what I think, is the only show where that has actually happened to me.
Yeah.
But that is also why that is excluded for me as a show I will never review.
Well, first of all, I think having a deep connection with something is good. It's always good. Of course, it's good to a certain level. There's a Spice and Wolf, sentence, a thing that goes, everything in too much is bad, but you don't gain nothing on a business. So I think having a deep connection with something is very good. And I understand what Crash is saying about the flaws and things, but saying you like something and saying that something speaks to you on a personal level is not only saying that you like it a lot, but that you came to terms with it. What it means to you, how it affects you, how it affects your life, how it resonated with you, and that's only possible if you know what what you know and think about the flaws it has. You know, any show, we can talk about the shows we gave two. Like I gave two to Edo Manga Sensei, but I know that show has the potential to be important to someone. What? Portuguese came out. But if you...
It's almost like that's your native language or something.
Oh, shit. Looks like the beer's making effect. But if you can only see the good things about it and ignore the ugly side, can you, in the end of the day, lay your head on the pillow and think to yourself, damn, that show really connect with me in deep level? You know, I don't think that's possible. I think to a show to be important to you, you need to understand it on every single side of it, being good or being bad.
Okay, I'll take the question from here. I personally absolutely agree with JD, where if a show connects to you on a deep level, that's great. There's no such thing as there's a problem with being obsessive about something, but as long as it just connects to you on a deep level, there's nothing wrong with that. It is just like Crash says, it's a great connection to have something to have a deep level connection to something like that. I've said this a million times, but I've watched anime too long to just say, oh, I really like that, and that's it. Everything I watch, I tend to overanalyze, and it's kind of a problem when I have discussions with people who are, I don't really want to say below my level, but don't look at series the same way I do. They're like, oh, I want to enjoy this, and that's kind of all they want to do. That's great. That's fine. There's no problem with that. But my problem is that I look at everything under a microscope, under a magnifying glass, and I look for flaws, and that's why I enjoy anime at this point. So when it says if I connect to something on a deep level, can I not criticize it? Absolutely not. Ava's my favorite series of all time. I can tell you 100 flaws with it. I've also still watched it 68 times or some ridiculous number. Can I talk about what's wrong with NHK? Of course I can. But it's still one of my favorite shows. That doesn't mean I can't point out flaws. I don't become blinded by liking something. It's not something I'm willing to do. And in my fandom, as I see it, most of my enjoyment doesn't come from watching shows. Most of the enjoyment I have comes from talking about series that you like or dislike with people who share your opinion, differ in opinion, or absolutely disagree with you. I want to understand the other side of the argument, and that's why I started this Discord group. That's why I was on forums. That's why I've been on avageeks.com. That's why I spent time online trying to cultivate some kind of community that would actually allow me to speak with people who disagreed with me. Now, getting back on topic, I actively don't think that I conflate having something be my favorite show with it being perfect. It's perfect for me, but I guarantee you every series I watch has problems because nothing is perfect. And I'll always be able to find them at some point. I haven't found a perfect series yet. That's why my highest score that isn't one of my favorites is a 9. And I really don't see the correlation between it being your favorite show and just overlooking everything wrong with it. That kind of seems like a shallow fandom in my eyes. It seems like you're more into watching things and just kind of glazing over, and you just want to be entertained, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but to argue with someone who's looking at it in a more academic sense, it kind of comes off as a kind of a shallow pull. That's all I got.
Hickey, you want to take the next question?
Sure. The next question is from the guy who suggested Sailor Moon to be reviewed. Unfortunately, I asked him how he wanted to be addressed this. So I'm gonna use his team name because I asked if he wanted the Idol Master one, but he said please no. So we're going with Jackal. And Jackal, he's not a pedophile, but the Idol Master.
Way to refer to someone, Jesus.
the Idol Master name might be. Anyway, uh,
Moving on.
yeah, moving on, please.
Toss them right into the bus.
Yeah, Jarkal asked, if animating costs so much money, time and effort, why they spend it animating mediocre shows? Because, well, you answered that, because animation is advertisement. It started as advertisement in 1963, and I think it will keep being in advertisement. Mainly advertisement.
It's the same reason why we don't see original shows all the time. It's because they want to make money by selling something that's cheap to make that still sells for $10 a volume. It's manga, or light novels, or video games. The cost that they use, or whatever cost they spend animating something, they expect to get more back selling the source material. That's why it's worth it for them to animate things that are just kind of meh. And at that, usually the things that they animate that are just kind of whatever or mediocre or fine, the source material is probably a lot better. For instance, you have Sword Art Online, which people say is terrible garbage and everyone hates it and it's a dumpster fire, blah, 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 blah.
Even though it's one of the most popular shows ever.
Yeah. The source material, I think, is trash, personally. But I'm sure that there's a ton of people that are going to argue with me that it's actually great. Meanwhile, it's pretty universally understood that the show kind of falls after they get out of Aincrad.
Kind of falls.
Hey.
Kind of.
Sinon's Ass Online was great.
Sino's
Oh,
ass. Oh, jeez.
But Sinnoh's ass was great.
Well, that's what I said, I thought.
Well, I mean, I think it was things that's important to remember when talking that, like, is why would they animate something? Why would they put money and effort into something that is mediocre? Well,
mediocrity
first of all,
is only in hindsight.
yeah, somebody thinks this is gonna sell. That's why they want a studio to make it. So they hire a studio, they get people together, they talk about how they're gonna make it. It becomes a thing. Nobody goes into a show wanting to make a mediocre show. That is never the case. Nobody goes in thinking this is easy cash, because one thing that's very, very important to remember here is, and I think this is something that people overlook a lot of time. Some people seem to have this idea that animators and animation studios will just throw out trash so that they can get paid quickly, and people they will just take on jobs for the easy money. The problem there is that the people that make anime, there is no easy money for them, and even if they do get paid, they don't get paid a lot. So it's people that do this for a living, people that do this job, they don't do it because, it's easy money. They do it because they love it. So, everybody goes into making a show as good as they can. There are, of course, obstacles that will appear along the way that can make that very difficult. That is not necessarily the animators or the production team's fault. That can be due to like the source. It can be due to the production committee. It can be because of the mangaka or light novelist or whatever. There are so many things that could literally be hell. There could be disasters. There's been earthquakes that have put stops to fucking anime projects and stuff like that, right? You never know. Obstacles will appear along the way. But like the gist of it is, a show gets made because somebody wants it to be made, and they think this is gonna sell, and ultimately they think with this appearing on TV and whatnot, there's gonna be hopefully a spike in source material sales, and that is why companies and whatnot are willing to shoulder a lot of the cost of making an anime.
Speaking on something Tori said a little bit earlier in that statement, there's an Animators Dormitory Kickstarter going around right now, and what that does is that that's basically building a home for new animators to actually live in, because if you know anything about animation's wages, it's downright disgusting what they pay these people. They're getting paid less than minimum wage, and you basically have to nearly kill yourself to stay in this industry. I always support it every time it comes around, and the link should be down if I remind JD, which I almost certainly will. It's either
certainly forget.
Yeah, it's either a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe or something like that.
I think they change
Give
the
anything
site.
you can, or nothing. It doesn't really matter. But if you love anime and and you want to see the next generation actually be able to survive, I suggest giving at least something to this.
Yeah. Just to kind of also clarify what this is. This is not a you pay animators kind of deal. This is a housing project essentially, because most animators most people that want to animate, they have to move to Tokyo, because that is where most studios are. And they're usually downtown Tokyo because everybody wants to be central, and they want to travel as little as possible because production stuff and notes and drawings and whatever, they're going to travel a lot between different studios. So considering that the animators get paid next to nothing and rent in Tokyo is incredibly high, that is why this dormitory project is a thing, because it is supposed to be a place where they can live for relatively cheap, as well as have quick access to teachers and other people who will train them in, well, not just train them in the art of animation, but like they will try to prepare them for a life as an animator and, developing their talents. So yeah. Shall we move on to the next question?
I absolutely greatly encourage everyone to at least give something.
Yeah, if you can. I do the same.
I mean, don't go poor for it, but...
No, absolutely. Like, this is not like, if you don't care, or like you're whatever, or you just straight up can't, that is fine. Nobody should feel forced to do this. It's just if you want. But it is something to think about. It's something to keep in mind that is a thing. So yeah. Let's move on to the next question then. And the next question comes from Meowth900. Of course, one of the hosts of the Something Something podcast. And she asks, how do you prefer your manga?
Simple question.
And well, Meowth, I don't. I'm not much of a mangaka, and I don't really care. I can read it online, I can read it physically, I don't really have an attachment either. I can read it on my phone. I'm not a big fan of reading on the phone, mostly because small screen, and I don't really use my phone for anything other than calling people anyway, so that's like the tiny exception, but other than that, I really don't care. So I read my manga however possible, and I don't read a lot either.
It's kind of an open question, but I prefer my manga in physical format, if that's what you're asking. I have no problems with reading it on my phone or online or anything like that, but there's something about the smell of books that I just absolutely love.
Oh, it's all
as for genres, if that's what you're talking about, I like seinen, I like psychological, I like horror, which is why I like Junji Ito so much, because he's basically the only good one. Read Uzumaki, everybody, do it, please do it.
Uzumaki is amazing.
And that's basically it. I like physical format. I think it looks really nice up on my shelf.
And just to clarify, if you were asking for how do I prefer my manga in terms of genre, I am also very much into psychological manga, just like I am with anime.
Yeah.
And read everything Inio Asano's ever put out.
God damn it.
Nothing subliminal here.
You have suggested 201 manga to me. Shut up.
I like physical manga as well. Not only I like the smell of books, that's for every book. Not only I like the smell of book, but I really like to feel the texture on the page. Notice the imperfections left by the printing process. I think it's very charming. I know I'm sounding like an old guy, like a old man, but still, I really dig it. I can read my manga digitally. It's usually the most of manga I've read it was digitally, also with the Count Dojin. But I don't think you want to know about how I get my porn. And as genre, I think I like seinen. Seinen action. Usually, I like slice of fun life, if that's a genre. I don't know if you ever look it up.
Are you a sad panda, Hickey?
No, I'm not a sad panda.
Is that where you get your dojins from?
No.
He's
I
not
don't
a
know. I
sad
don't
panda.
know.
Pandas aren't in Brazil.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pandas aren't fucking anywhere, JD.
I never heard
That
about
sentence
sad
means
panda.
two things.
Anyway, seinen, supernatural, and action. I think those are very good.
I'm not too big on manga myself. I didn't get really into manga until just a few years ago, just because where I've lived, never any stores that sold it. Whether it be Germany or the southern United States. And I didn't really know about online sites. Never really looked for them. The manga that I do have are series that are animes that have abruptly ended before the series did. So then
infuriating.
Right. So then
worst.
Well, I mean, take like GTO for example, 40 plus episodes or 40 episodes or something, and I enjoyed it. It's a shame that it ended. So I continued it in manga form.
Speaking of which, have you been reading Paradise Lost?
No.
You should. It's very good. It's more GTO. I don't know what you expect.
I prefer my manga however way I can get it. That's just me. That's the simple. When I eventually get a bigger place somewhere down the line, I'll start, investing more into the physical manga because I do enjoy that. But until then, I am probably on the majority of digital at this point.
All right. Anyone else?
Nope.
Great.
I think everybody said something now.
Okay, so this is from an anonymous user. Come join our Discord if you actually want to talk to us a little more. Why would you keep watching an anime until the end when the only thing you say about it is this show is trash since the beginning? Me personally, I don't. Actually, that's a false statement for me. I drop
Lies.
whatever I don't like, unless we're in a blood pact between me and Tori, and that's because I want to discuss it with someone else, as I said earlier. But for the most part, if I don't like something, it's going right in the garbage bin because I think it's trash, and trash belongs in the trash can.
Just like your wife.
See, just like your wife.
My waifu. Oh, we got 17 years of arguments over my waifu.
Well,
20 fucking years.
In my case, there always seems to be one anime, at least in terms of seasonal anime, that I end up watching because a lot of other people are watching, and I get caught up in the conversations about it. So the most recent example would be Recreators. I absolutely hate that show. I have a lot of reasons to hate it. I have a lot of reasons why the show isn't great, but I want to be part of the conversation. And that's why I keep watching it, even though I think the show is absolute trash. I just want to be a part of a community. I want to be a part of what's going on.
Don't you dare negatively review anything.
Yeah, more often than not, I will drop something. But if something's very popular, take Clannad, for example, as you bring up reviewing something. That's an extremely popular show. It has a good reputation, great, you might say, and I watched it from beginning to end and had a slew of problems with it, and borderline insulting to people who watch it.
But in the end, it was still fantastic. Yes, thank you.
It's only insulting if you take the offense to it, honestly.
Oh my god.
If
Here
you
we go again.
If you read every review you ever read and go, this guy's trying to directly attack me, chances are he didn't even fucking think of you when he wrote that review, just letting you know. Because you're not the center of the fucking planet. Get over yourself.
Another example is I watched quite a bit of Tsukigakure, a middle school romance anime with the worst fucking color palette I've ever seen in my life. It looks like watercolors.
What?
It looks like a middle school girl threw MS Paint on a screen.
Oh no.
My
No. Fuck you, JD.
I'll wait for Hickey.
Fuck you. I just want to say fuck you. I don't
and
know how.
And the romance was so juvenile. If you think it's great, you're juvenile too.
Moving on. Yes, we are still
The only
answering
thing
this
I didn't like
question.
about the color palette
So-
was that stupid white shading they had on everything, and it was always there.
Yeah, that's
Guys,
the
question.
part of MS Paint that just missed.
God, come on.
We're going off topic.
At least the newer one, the 3D. I'm very forgiving about
It's
shows.
at least Adobe After Effects. God.
No, that wasn't Adobe After Effects. That was like Paint 3D. Anyway, I like the show. Okay, I'm very forgiving about shows. Like I said, I usually say that as a joke. So don't take it seriously. Truly speaking, sometimes when I think a show belongs in a trash can, just like Senpai's waifu, I realize that
Ray is great. I don't know who you think you are.
Let the man talk.
I interrupt him every time he talks shit on my grill.
Okay. I usually realize the show is bad. I'm past the point of no return, so it'll feel like a waste not to finish it. Also, there's the discussion on the community going on. So sometimes I watch it to talk with people to know what they think about it. Sometimes I think it's hella fun and just watch it for the lols, like Fatkin and Clockwork Planet. And sometimes for its learning value, to understand how the industry is doing, how they
Oh yeah, that is a good point.
how
That is a good
the
point to
industry
bring up.
doing, because, like, for example, I'm watching every single show. I think I never understood how things are evolving so smoothly before.
I feel like they're devolving more
Yeah.
than evolving because designs are getting simpler and simpler to draw, but they're getting more animation centric. I think we need to find a middle ground between animation and art, because if we keep going down this moe path, we're gonna have like fucking stick figures pretty soon. And
disagree. Mob
I'm
Psycho's
not
great.
I'm not about that. I would take less animation for better art.
Well,
You shut up. Mob Psycho
like
was
something
great.
Mob Psycho was a fucking 10 out of 10. I love that show.
something I realized
yeah.
there are no self-insert protagonists. Watching the shit ton of shows, I realized that that is straight up lie. No one is dumb like that. Oh, I'm done. Please, next person.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
me.
we got
Okay.
one more. Now we'll skip you two.
Hey, no.
Your opinion doesn't
No.
matter on this one.
This is my time. Okay, so let's see. What was the question? Why you keep pushing? Okay, yeah. No, I drop a lot more shows now than I used to. I do, but I kind of have to agree with what JD says. A lot of it is to just when you're part of a community, you always want to be part of the talk. You want to be part of the conversation, and we belong. Like what we're doing here is kind of more of a niche thing, watching older anime and whatnot. Most people don't necessarily want to talk old anime with you, and what is always hot in conversation is the newest episode of whatever is popular this season. So I will give, like with Recreators, I still haven't dropped that, even though I hate the show. I will give that a lot longer. I'm actually going to finish that, so that is a bad example. But generally, I will give shows, especially if they're hot on conversation, I will give them a lot longer, unless they just get to that point where I'm like, I can't, like I just click in my brain and I can't. Then I will drop it immediately. I don't necessarily always drop the trash shows. I kind of tend to drop more of the just straight up average shows because, well, they're not fun.
I would rather watch
they're
a
also
2
not
than a
bad.
5 every time.
Yeah, and I am watching a 2 this season. It is called that again, and it is hilarious.
Dude, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
So there's you can always find even in the bad ones, you can always find, well, not always, but you can still find a show that you're sitting there and going like, this is a shit watch for me essentially, and I really like it despite it being bad because, well, I can laugh at it even though it's not even trying to be a comedy. It is unintentionally funny. And then you can talk to people and they can get mad at you, and that is also always fun.
That's also hilarious. I love doing that. How dare you not like what I like? Bro, we're not the same
How dare
person.
you.
It's fine.
How dare you not see the same things I see in a show? Because we're not the same person.
Who the hell do you think I am? Crosses arms. Spiral power.
So this last question we're going to go over is from a user that hit me up on my anime list. His name's Great Boy. Particularly to me, but I wanted to get this question out to you guys as well. I find it a bit odd to rate something an 8, lower than a bunch of stuff on your list, so me, But to put it as a favorite, and in this case he's referring to Maisen Ikkaku, which I have as an 8, but it's one of my favorite shows. Regardless, what I wanted to ask is, going by your ratings, Maisen Ikkaku is your favorite Rumiko work, and considering it's on your favorites, I would guess that's right. And how do you feel about the others? As a side note, that's why I find a problem with rating anime from a critical standpoint, as it's trying to remove your subjective feelings on it, and it not only doesn't reflect how you truly feel about it, i.e. how much you enjoyed it, but it also makes it harder from an outsider perspective to figure out what you like. Anyways, I'm curious in general to hear your favorite romance rom-com anime are.
Okay, so one, I'm gonna say there's no correlation between the scores I give and how I feel about a series. If you want to know that, you should probably just ask me. That's kind of just, I would rather open a discussion than have you glance at a number and know how I feel about something, because that's not how I watch shows. It's like the same theory as, oh, look at this review that someone spent 30 pages writing. I'm going to go look at the score at the bottom. I don't like that. As for the romance, please.
I think we're definitely going to go into how to rate anime or rating anime on a future podcast, and I believe it's going to be the next one, actually. So that'll address that question in more detail. I think the best example we can all give.
Find out next time on Worldwide Weebs.
Right. I think a good example we can all give is watching. Let's say you watch a show from the 70s. It's going to be damn hard for that show to be a 10, because the animation of the time, you're going to have to look at it and go, okay, what could they do at that time? If you're looking at it from a 2015 plus perspective, you're like, well, the animation's shit, so it can't be a 10. Take Ashita no Joe, for example. We all have strong feelings about it. There's a lot of still frames, a lot of filler episodes. Is the story basically perfect? I think so. But is the rest of the show perfect? That's where it gets a little fuzzy, even though we all really enjoyed it. But going to what our favorite romance rom-com anime are. Joe, take it away.
I don't know if actually I guess my favorite romance anime is Snafu. So My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, which is odd because usually I hate things in that genre as a general rule, but that's written so well and so honestly that I find a great deal of pleasure and enjoy in how pessimistic the main character is and how he still feels genuine and real and what he's looking for in a relationship, as opposed to a lot of other series where it's like, this is your main character, he's a self-insert, look at all these hot girls. I really don't like that, because I'm not that main character, and I'm also not a fucking self-insert. If I want to watch a series, I want to watch a series about someone. Doesn't have to be me. I really don't care if it's me. It's the same reason why I love Monogatari, because Araragi is very, very solidly not me. He's his own character. It's the same thing with Batman, 8-Man, Hachiman. He's very much his own character, and he's not. Well, he's actually very similar to me, but that's because I'm very pessimistic in general. To the general viewer, he's not you, very specifically, and the way he deals with things is very. It makes sense, but it still tears at you because it's like he's just hurting himself. It's a series that I like a lot, and I think most people agree. However, whatever that other series that author wrote, that was hot trash. Hot trash.
Girlish number, yes.
Have you seen Maisen Ikkaku, Yatsura, Ranma, Inuyasha at all?
Yes.
And where would you rank them? Just for the listeners.
Mason Ikkaku, literally everything else. It's literally the only one I like.
I'm kind of in the same boat, honestly, but I do enjoy them all.
Although if I'm gonna rate the rest, it's like Ranma and then the rest. So it's Mason Ikkaku, Ranma, everything else. Because at least Ranma made me laugh. The rest I just kind of stared blankly at the screen.
Tori?
Well, for me, I mean, I'm also a huge fan of Snafu. I think it is really good. However, I think I would have to put Golden Time over it, just because I've never seen a better, like, in my opinion, I've never seen an anime portray a relationship better than Golden Time has. It was everything I wanted from a romance. Not the silly, Golden Time, for those that don't know, is by the same author that made Toradora. But unlike Toradora, it's not just, fucking around for the entire show and then have them eventually magically be like, actually, I like you. Let's just get together. Let's get married. Right? It's kind of.
I want you to fuck me, Jerry.
Yeah. Golden Time is more. You meet the girl. You try to. The main character meets girl, who is in love with a guy he also just met, who they became friends, and she's like, she's kind of annoying and whatnot, and technically he's just trying to be the good guy and get in between them because his friend doesn't really want anything to do with her because she's kind of crazy. So he tries to get in between them and kind of take up her time because he thinks this girl is kind of cute. She's his type for some reason. Eventually by episode 6, they're going out. And take it from there. Then they start to show like the different stages of their relationship, from the cringy they just got together, show up at school, at college, because they go to college, studying law, and they're like like showing up in front of school, like just like screaming each other's name, backgrounds turn into pink hearts, and like super cringy but very realistically what people their age, a lot of people their age would be like in their first relationship when they just got together.
Right.
And following them all the way into the more, relaxed tone of they're way more comfortable with each other now. They can actually talk about stuff, even serious stuff such as sex, because they're adults and things like that. And, they're general just way more comfortable around each other. And eventually, of course, the problems that will arise with relationships and other problems that doesn't really relate to relationships at all, but they still had to tackle some other things in there, which some people didn't like. I didn't like parts of it. I thought certain things were kind of dumb, but ultimately didn't ruin the show enough for me to not still absolutely love that show.
And have you seen Maizumi Kaku or other Rumiko work?
No, I have not.
Okay, well then your answer to that was
is
null and void.
It is on the list, but I have not gotten there yet.
Okay. Definitely one Rumiko work to absolutely avoid is definitely the mermaid one. That one's a horrendous piece of shit, and she even agrees with it. That's why it's the shortest.
All
right.
Ignore Inuyasha under any circumstance.
No, it's the mermaid one, not Inuyasha.
Oh my god. Anyway, first of all, great point. I really liked your question because you started with this big introduction of delving in the subjectiveness of how to rate shows to finish up asking what is our favorite rom-coms. I really liked it. I thought that was
Hey, I didn't ask the question, man.
I know, but I thought it was very good. My favorite rom-coms, I think, is Nafu as well. I think it's a very good rom-com. I like Toradora. I enjoy Toradora. Sakura Trick, although it's a look, there's two chicks kissing show, I still enjoy it. Zero no Tsukaima is a good rom-com. And for this season we have Konbini Kareshi, which is a surprise. I'm really enjoying the romance in that show, and I think you should watch it if you're not watching. Also, there's Futari Echi. Futari Echi.
Yeah, Kakegurui is great. That's right. All right.
Futari Echi is a very
The
old
best rom-com.
manga, and the manga has a lot of very good tricks for the act. And it's a very good romance. Two young people married. It's an arranged marriage. They start developing feelings for each other and they start having sex. So it's very mature.
Yeah.
Sex.
Sex.
Yeah.
And they gives you tips. And
Gives you tips
very-
on
Yeah.
Oh god. What about Rumiko's works? Have you seen any of them, Hickey?
I've seen Run. Half. I think it's good. I remember it being good,
Yeah.
but I was horribly mistaken with Sailor Moon, so I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what you think anymore.
I think Rama's pretty funny, but it's I enjoyed Yatsura more on a personal level, just because it definitely knows it's going to be a comedy more than a romantic comedy.
Fan service, gotcha.
Ayo, Lum's got the big titties.
I don't know. For me, when I was 13, the high school romance, middle school romance,
Back in 1730.
Yes, way back when,
In the Wayback Machine.
in the long ago. Something as simple as Love Hina, was good to me. But I didn't know any better. I was 13. I was like, ooh, they're gonna like hold hands. What a thing. now,
Dude, I wish I could hold a girl's hand.
There was a recent episode of My Hero Academia where Midoriya's just talking on the phone with the girl, and he's like, talking to girls are amazing. Oh my god. and he's twitching, foaming at the mouth. That's what young adolescents go through. But now that I'm older, you might say, it doesn't do it for me anymore. A high school romance, just like, why the fuck won't you just talk to a girl? And I also feel that anime writing in romance is very weak. That's why when I was watching something like Nana, it seemed more realistic. It seemed, no, it's not a romantic comedy, but it's definitely a romance. And they go through real problems. And that's something that, romance is serious. It's not funny. And it shouldn't be.
Well, just to bring it back on a lighter tone, I do want to trigger Hickey and say My Hero Academia is the best shonen since Dragon Ball. Fight me.
That's a very good joke.
If only it were a joke, then maybe Naruto wouldn't be garbage.
It's joke. It's joke.
It's joke.
Oh, God.
No.
Except no, it's really not, though. It's very honest.
I agree with Senpai, so there's 2-1-1, so
Vigilante is very better. Way better than My Hero Academia.
Vigilante is essentially doujinshi, but yes.
But yes.
Well, isn't it made by the same author, though?
I want more of it.
Isn't it made by the same author? Or am I completely wrong?
One thing, I mean...
Senpai?
I won't discuss...
Why aren't you confirming or denying what I'm saying?
Wait, why did you bring
I think
up
we've been...
My Hero Academia?
Just to get us back on track, guys.
I actually have no idea, Tori.
Okay.
We've been going on quite a while now. I think it's time to transition into Tori's quest update, because I don't have a shonen update. Just from the fact that I don't have the fucking time right now.
Boo. Okay, so my quest updates. Well, my quest is going great. It has hit a bit of a bump, and that mostly comes from the fact that I'm watching right now. I am in 1981, yes, and I am watching Queen Millennia. The problem with that is that Queen Millennia has only been subbed up till episode 34, and it's 42 episodes. So there hasn't been a new episode out in 4 months, and I am scared. So I'm watching it kind of slow.
Evil, please finish it. Let him finish it, please, God, please.
That would be nice. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm watching it slow. I'm giving them all. I'm on episode 20 now. I'm giving them all the time they need to finish it. But if worse comes to worse and I catch up and they still haven't put out a new episode, I am just going to have to skip over to 1982 and go with Space Cobra.
Oh no, what a nightmare.
So, I know, right? So, because of that, I'm also technically watching 4 shows at the same time. I am watching Queen Millennia. I also started Space Cobra, just in case. And I am also watching Cat's Eye, which is the show after Space Cobra. And I'm watching Fist of the North Star.
So, Tori, tell me about that manhwa you're reading.
The manhwa I'm reading. That is not on my quest, so you can go fuck yourself. What he's talking about is I also started reading Tower of God.
That's right, Hickey. I
I
did
mostly
it.
read that. I probably just read that before I go to bed or on my way to school, basically. So yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
But
It's
anyways,
okay.
yeah.
This dude. Look at this dude.
Back, you get me sidetracked. Back to the quest. The reason why I'm watching so many shows is one, like I said, in case Queen Emeraldas doesn't finish, I'm skipping right over to Space Cobra, and I might as well just start it now since I'm gonna have to watch it at some point. And I also decided to start Cat's Eye and Fist of the North Star because, well, they are long.
Hokuto
They're
no
73
Ken.
and 100. They are 73 and 109 episodes each. So it's gonna take me a while anyway. So I might as well just get a head start.
Welcome to the party of what anime used to be.
Yep.
That's exactly what I said to him. Like, to a
Okay.
fucking T. Welcome to what the fandom
Once-
used to be. Welcome to what I used to deal with.
Yeah. But when I'm finished with those shows, I am basically finished with the 80s because then I only have a bunch of OVAs that are like 3, 4, maybe 8 episodes in one episode.
Also, welcome to the
Yeah, this is
80s.
gonna fit. Yep. OVAs,
Just watch
baby.
Mazinger Z.
OVAs.
What's wrong with you?
No.
Do it. Don't
And then
be a
watch
bitch.
Gal
Do
Gaga
it.
No.
kill yourself.
No.
Ga, ga, oh, ga, ga.
Anyways, to have you so that you can stop picking on me. Hickey, what is going on in your summer anime update?
I love you, Tori.
Well, first of all, I want to ask you guys if you have anything to say about this first half of summer season.
I still like
Nope.
Gamers. Gamers is really good. Aho Girl makes me laugh, which is kind of the point of the entire thing. Fate
No.
is fucking fine. That's all I have to say about it. It's just kind of fine. I've stopped watching Kakegurui, not because it's bad, because it's very good. I just want to see it on Netflix Player the way it's supposed to be viewed. And I started one other thing, but Sure Dure Children or whatever. Yet no, I don't give a shit about any of those characters. I dropped that series at episode 2.
Good man.
And JD, do you have anything to say? About the orphan?
Honestly,
About
the
orphan?
last couple, the last couple seasons have been very, very disappointing with my kind of fandom and how I view the industry and where it's heading. I don't like it, but there are some standouts. Kakegurui and Maiden Abyss, from what started this season, are doing very well in my book. Sure, the shows have flaws. Maiden Abyss's
No,
character
say so.
designs I'm not okay with, but the show itself is rock solid. And Kakaguru's batshit insane. So
Yeah.
Hell
Well,
yeah, it is.
I
Can't wait to read that manga.
everything else I just can't get into. It's not, they're not original enough, you might say. They're not breaking any new grounds. They're
New
not-
game has the perfect amount of booty in it.
New game is good.
I am definitely not in the
JD.
mood for freaking fan service type shit anymore.
That's a
New
bold.
game is not fan service.
So
That's a joke.
thank God Owari Monogatari's second season came out.
I don't have time to watch.
You should watch
fucking one
Gamers.
at a time.
Why
That's
would I
sad.
watch gamers when I can just play games myself?
Because Gamers is good.
Gamers is not good.
And bad
Girls
at the
don't
same
play
time.
games. It's a lie.
Gamers is good and bad at the same time.
It's, anyway, I had an outline to talk about today, but unfortunately something happened now. I want to discuss it. I really want to talk about the surprises of the season for me. How I'm enjoying shows I didn't thought I would enjoy, like Night and Magic.
You take that back immediately.
Dude, it's very entertaining.
Can we kick?
It's really
Can we
entertaining.
kick Hickey off the
For me,
podcast?
like, if you
We're
like
taking the
engineering-
podcast in a different direction, everybody. We're actually
If-
getting Nicky out of
Hey,
here. I'm sorry
hey,
to let
hey,
everyone
hey.
know, but
Wait. Let me say. If you like engineering, Light and Magic is kind of good.
I am a
Like,
fucking engineer. I hate that show.
Come on, now they're actually
you,
doing
Kato.
something. Like now they are actually doing something. It's kind of entertaining, possibly because I'm going insane. There's that as well. The quality drop in Aoyama-kun and smartphone was bad from the beginning. I would love to geek out about Classroom of the Elite and talk about how when they Hans Kelsen episode But still, I want to discuss a show today that I think I'm the only person on our Discord channel that is watching it. And if you're watching the show, please come talk to me. And the show is called Nora Tojo to Nora Neko Heart. It's a show. It's a short. It's a 3 and.
Would you mind saying the English title, please?
Oh, I don't think there is an English title. Well, I can look it up. Hang on.
Just keep talking about it. I'll look it up.
Okay, it's a
you
show about a guy. He got transformed in a cat by the Princess of Hell. And basically it's 3.5 minutes of their antics. Like doing bad shit, crazy shit, and... You know, just jokes. Telling jokes. The jokes are good. The jokes are very good. It's... The name in English is Nora, Princess, and Stray Cat. The jokes, they are very simple, but they are very good. Unfortunately, this show is 100% digitally made, digital. So it has a glossy 2.5 thing going on. But what I want to discuss is the 60th episode of this show. The episode 6 consisted in 3.5 minutes of a live footage of goats eating and resting while the voice actress would like speak in the background. I'm not joking. That was the episode 6, and I like it. I really like it for some reason. Giving a little bit of context, there's something with magic going on, and one of the characters like kind of transformed the cast in goats, and that's basically what episode 6 was. And like the more I think about it, the more I realize how much I like it. And like, don't get me wrong, though that was a bad joke. That was very bad. I wasn't expecting the goats, the live footage of goats, for fucking sakes. But it surprised me. A live footage of goats accomplished something that a lot of anime failed to do. That is, surprised me. Like, it's been so long since the last time I felt surprised that I couldn't help myself but laugh of the situation was on my TV.
I think that really speaks more to the current scape of anime than it does for that one particular show.
Right, but dude, you don't understand. It's goats. It's goats
You're right.
eating. That was the entire episode. Goats eating. As the voice actors goes, oh, I want to go to the sea, and oh, this goat life is not that bad.
That's bad. Kill me, please.
Yeah,
Okay,
kind of like
if
that.
you want weird
Like,
shit,
that's something that happen a lot, you know. I think every person here has more than 300 shows watched, completed. And the
Yeah.
more you watch,
You and I have over 900.
the less surprised. Yeah, of 900. The less surprised with some situations you become. Because, you know, the first time you watch it, it's fun, it's surprising, and pulls you in. But after the millionth time, it's not that good. And you slowly forget about the feeling from when you start watching. And as soon as you realize, you start foreseeing the situations that will occur in the show. So a show like that I don't think anyone is watching. I don't even know the score of this show, but it's probably very low. It's 5.51 on my anime list, and it will probably drop after this episode. You know, made something that a lot of shows with a huge budget, okay, huge budget, because, you know, they don't have a big, huge budget, failed to accomplish, which is making something surprising. It's been so long, it felt very fresh. And not only that, I was feeling kind of burnout from my watch everything. And now I feel like watching an anime again. I feel like not giving an excuse, just so you know. And like that made me realize how desperate I was to see something in Japanese animation that will surprise me, come out of left field and take me out of my guard.
alright? But I mean, Hickey, if you want to be surprised, just watch TQ.
No, I'm not watching
That would
Cancer.
be something to surprise anyone.
I'm not
TQ is
watching it.
surprising.
Bad animation is not surprising. We see that a lot.
No.
Ruining
This
Berserk is
surprising.
very
It's nothing to
surprising.
do.
It's not.
It being badly animated has nothing to do with a surprise.
Fuck that show.
But
It is very good.
if I want to watch TQ, I prefer watching I My Me again because it's better.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. I
Oh,
haven't
you
watched
haven't seen
TQ. I can watch some episodes of TQ when I have time.
You can watch season 1 of TQ. It'll take you 20 minutes.
So, what do you say, guys? We go into our main discussion topic, which is summer and anime.
Jesus, that's how far we are? Oh, God. All right, let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah, we finally made it.
No, I don't feel like it.
So, it is the end of August, which means many, many people, at least in the northern hemisphere, are experiencing the closing of summer. And many people are going back to school, Tori included.
Yep.
Some of us are going on vacation because summer's ending. So now would be a good time to... And thank you, Meowth900 from the Something Something podcast for the topic suggestion.
Don't worry, we'll only shout her out a couple more times.
Yeah, that's cool. You can find her on SoundCloud, iTunes.
You can find her on the internet.
So this is where some of us are gonna have some differences. Me and Joe have grown up with anime from basically day one. Tori, you're a fairly new anime fan who's watched a shit ton. And Hickey watches his summer anime during Christmas time, because that's what summer is to him.
Hickey has also been watching anime since he was young.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was saying what separates him from, say, you and me.
Okay.
All right.
I'm being segregated.
You gotta calm down. I gotta segregate the South
I don't
American
want to
here.
let you segregate Hickey, alright? My favorite person here. This is bullshit.
What separates him from you guys is that he is way more good looking than you are.
I wouldn't say way, but he's more good looking than I am.
I'm not that,
No,
that
way
good
more.
looking. It's me sometimes.
He's like
since the
he's
last
like a
time
7, I'm like a 6. JD's like a hard 3.
And you cut out. Good.
Not on my recording.
God,
you have to hear
God
that later.
has censored him. At least to the hosts.
You'll get to hear that later, don't worry.
So, Joe, since you are, I believe, the person that's out of school and among the young kids in the group here, why don't you start us off? What was your summer like as a young adolescent or an elementary school kid watching anime?
I watched a lot of Pokemon. I spent most of my time in my childhood outside. So, really wasn't. Most of my anime watching was done during fall and winter. In summer, I used to watch, like, when Fooly Cooly came around. I really enjoyed that. Basically, I had a Gynax childhood. I was born in 1993, so, I mean, my childhood was, the mid to late 90s and the early 2000s. Gynax was reigning supreme. Madhouse was very entertaining. There's no real one definitive show that I would watch during summer. I mean, unless you count Ava, but been watching that a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was never really big into shonen that wasn't Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball. So I'd never really got connected to, like, I don't know, One Piece or Naruto or anything like that. A lot of giant robot shows, so Gal Gagar, Mazinger Z, Big O, every fucking Gundam I could get my hands on, Razafon when that came around, Neon Genesis Evangelion. I like robots. I think robots punching things are cool. Oh, and Armor Trooper Votomes, because robots punching shit's awesome. If you don't agree, I don't know what to tell you.
Did what you watched changed as you got older?
Kind of. I mean, once I hit like 8 or 9, I liked robots. I kind of just gradually turned from super robots into like quote unquote real robot genre.
Okay.
And kind of stuck there. And then I got more into the psychological aspect, so I got more political with it, with like Gundam, 8th MS, all that shit. Char's Counterattack, which is one of the better Gundams. And everyone listening, don't waste your time with the AU. Just please watch the Universal Century.
But Gundam Wing.
My case rests.
But Gundam Wing.
I'll kill you.
I said it twice. You should change your mind now. Well, okay. Well, how about a newer anime fan, Tori? What are your summers like in the winter-filled death country that is Norway?
Well, first of all, it's no winter filled when it's summer.
No. It's always snowing in the summer.
I'm from the south. You shut up.
The south.
No. My summer. Yes, there is a South Norway. Believe it or not.
Yeah, it's just south of the north.
It is. You're right. No. Well, my summers pretty much consists of, well, how do I say? I got into anime around summer, so I would watch just whatever I felt like. So I started off with things like Cowboy Bebop and House of the Dead. So yeah, stuff like that.
I did it, don't worry.
God. No, but that was how I started, and then kind of from there, every summer since then, I was watching the summer season every summer. So basically whatever was on in the summer is what I was watching during summer, and whatever I felt like watching. Real, there wasn't any method to watching there wasn't anything I specifically looked to watch during summer, except for the summer season.
Right.
Granted, the only thing that changed for me during summer season was that was the time when when I put anime watching on breakneck speed, and I was finishing entire shows in one day, and basically any moment that I spent awake and not doing something else, with being outside or whatever, or had to do something, I don't know, every time I had to myself was spent watching anime. So I finished shows in a single day, whether they be 1 core or 2 core, and sometimes in 2 core shows in 2 days. That depended, but so that is how I came to have watched as many shows as I have in as little time as I have.
I can definitely hear the age gap between you and me, where the whole concept of binging something as a fan just didn't even register until much later in my life.
Yeah, no, I was crazy because I had discovered something that nobody had ever told me about. I didn't have a single friend that watched anime, and I'd never heard about it. I actually just stumbled across anime by accident. I was listening to independent musicians on YouTube who started talking about Cowboy Bebop, and I'm like, you know what? I hate that they talk about this. I want to know what they're talking about. And I started watching Cowboy Bebop, and that was the end. I was hooked. So, right, I stumbled across anime just completely randomly, and ever since then I've not been able to put it down really, except for a couple weeks at a time when I'm on vacation or something. I don't really bring anime with me. I just kind of take that time off, and every time I've done that, I feel like when I come back, I have a serious urge to watch something.
Well, what about you, Hickey?
Yeah. Well,
since you're the Christmas guy over here.
Yeah, talking about summer, specifically summer, because for me summer is every single day of the fucking year, because the temperature doesn't change. But talking about summer, the season of summer, it's very weird to talk, I think, listen to you guys talking and my experience, because my summer is December, January, and February. So in December, I'm looking to more New Year's and Christmas anime, and in January I'm looking at fresh, a new start, for example. So it's kind of weird. When I was younger, I don't have the patience to do anymore. But when I was younger and my summer vacations came, I would watch 2, maybe 3 entire shows in a day, every single day. I would also play light
binge
novels.
Watcher over here.
I would also play.
Don't worry, Hickey.
I would also
You might be a
play,
piece of crap, but you're my piece of crap.
I would also play visual novels. There was this time I played Chaos Head and Steins Gate back to back, and stayed awake for 72 hours. That was nuts. So I'm not doing that again. I'm really not doing that again. I started hallucinating. It wasn't fun.
Speaking of VNs, how do you feel about Sayano Uta?
That shit was weird. Like,
That shit sure does exist.
Yeah, it's something that you should play. It's something you should play. Really, I really think everyone should play Sayonota. But anyway, so like anime centered. I wasn't looking at New Year's anime and Christmas anime until I hit high school. Then I started watching Toradora every single Christmas because I don't know why. Saint Young Man. It's a manga. There's two OVAs and one movie. It's an amazing series. It's about Buddha and Jesus coming to Earth to take vacations. Usually some comedy, some very light shows. Tokyo Godfathers. In January, I would watch something like rewatch Hajime no Ippo, because it's a fresh start show. It's discovering something, giving me motivation to come back to school in February, beginning of February. Also dying in it. I would go out. I wouldn't go out that much because outside is hell. Hitting like 40 degrees Celsius. That's not good. That's not acceptable. But watching shows that goes in the summer, because I live from 100 meters away from the beach. So watching beach episodes, shows about
That is 104 degrees
going
Fahrenheit,
swimming
everybody.
again, so-
104 degrees Fahrenheit.
in Fahrenheit. I don't know. Did you just stated the Fahrenheit temperature? It's way over 100 Fahrenheit, for sure.
It's 104 Fahrenheit.
And watch a bunch of shows about the beach, and maybe rewatching Michiko and Hachin, because
I just converted it.
It's inspired in
keep going.
Brazil, and I kind of, hit closer to home. What about you, JD?
So, during the school year, being so heavily involved in sports, I would always sporadically catch whatever anime was on TV after school. And that was always Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, any Toonami-based show. So then when summer rolled around, they would always have recaps, of what happened in the school year, and it'd be much faster. So it'd be me, my childhood friend. She was really into Sailor Moon, which is relevant to this podcast episode.
We're going to have to stop that right there. Hold on. Do you have a childhood friend character that you cast aside? I thought we talked about how much we hate tropes, JD.
Well, I kind of did this thing where I moved across to another country called Germany, and then
The fuck's
Never
wrong with
came-
you?
never
How
came
dare
back.
you lead her on like that?
I did not.
Why didn't you bring her?
Fucking main character over here, JD. God.
So in
Cancer.
the afternoons, we'd watch Sailor Moon, then whether it be Gundam Wing or Dragon Ball Z, and then there'd always be another show later, and then late at night in the summers, you're hanging out with friends. We play video games, and then when it was like winding down time, we'd watch Adult Swim, so the Inuyashas, the Outlaw Stars, and that was always our summer thing, especially in the summers between, specifically in junior high. And there was one summer in particular, going from 8th grade to 9th grade, or grade 8, grade 9, which is junior high to high school in the United States, in most places. It was just a summer of we'd play video games all day, and then watch anime at night before bed for a few hours. And it was always, it seemed to always be along those same shows. Fooly Cooly, as you said, was on during the time. Just about every robot show you can imagine. And for the record, I hated Big O. We ended up skipping
Fuck
it.
you too, bruh.
It's just what we did. But I can't possibly recount how many times I've watched the first 50 episodes of Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. And how many times I've watched Gundam Wing, just because of rinse and repeating things like that. then when I got older and I was in whether I was in Germany or college, summers I usually spent alone because I was either still in school or everyone else is on vacation. So summer vacation in Germany is kind of similar to what Hickey's going through, where it's in an odd time. So summer vacation when I experienced in Germany was like February to April, which was odd, to say the least. But during summers in college, I would watch One Piece, Detective Conan, and just watch as much as possible. I would just spend days inside because the sports would take it out of me in the morning, and the rest of the day would just be watching anime or playing video games. So those were always my summers. So, how about any shows specific to summer that you guys would like to recommend? Whether it's binge watching worthy. How about this? One binge watch worthy show, one show that specifically reminds you of summer, and a show that everyone has to watch just because now.
Oreo.
No.
No?
No.
Yes. Dude, fucking water, gondolas, Venezia.
So that's...
Tell me that shit don't remind you of a fucking vacation of Venezia. Or
Venice
if you will.
for everyone else.
Yes.
Everyone else who doesn't
I'm just
speak
so used to saying
Italian.
Venezia.
So,
Or Norwegian. Or any other language where it's called Venezia.
what is it in German? I don't think it's Venezia.
Probably not. Germans are
It's
weird.
just Venice.
I doubt that.
So Tori, you say Aria is your summer one. What about the other two? One's binge watch worthy, and the other is watch just because.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is worthy of summer. Binge watch worthy. I don't binge watch that. I mean, I do, but I don't even know really. It's hard, like, because I don't really have many shows I like equate to summer, and I would not tell anybody to binge watch Aria, because you shouldn't binge watch Aria, especially not the first season. That is going to get really boring.
You're right. The whole show is really boring.
Yeah, no, it's not. But nah, I don't really know. It's, again, you should watch just because. Any show I've rated high on my list, you should watch just because. I don't know. You know, for some reason, the only things that like even remotely remind me of summer that comes to my mind right now is stuff like Last Slip, and don't watch Last Slip.
You don't watch Ass
Ever.
Lips, not great.
don't do that. So I don't know. I don't have a single show in mind.
All right, Hickey, what about you?
Well,
Give me those three shows.
3 shows. One I think everyone should watch, regardless of being summer, is Saint Youngman. The 2 OVAs in the movie. I think it's fantastic. It's very well animated. The story is very good, although it's touching on religious figures. But it's very good. It makes you kind of comprehend that religion is not something that should be like you should be against the other person's religion. You see 2 guys, they're like Jesus and Buddha are just 2 normal guys on the middle 20s, and just their antics, ending up with some stuff that is a spoiler, but I almost talked anyway. A good summer anime, I think it would be to binge watch. Darker Than Black would be a good one. Girls and Panzers would be a very good one as well. And the show that I think it's good to watch through the summer, I think Mushishi is a good one, because it's very chill and outside is hot. You can watch at the night, like the cold nights in summer. They're very good to watch Mushishi, a show like Mushishi.
Okay. Joe, what do you got?
I should definitely watch Cowboy Bebop, given the time. We already made a podcast about Gunbuster, so I'll leave that out. We already talked about Fooly Cooly. I'll leave that out. You should watch GTO, and you should binge Gurren Lagann. As a matter of fact, while I'm on the topic, you should also watch Idolmaster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got an Idolmaster going.
That's right.
Right, Tori?
Who doesn't like hot girls?
Yeah. I do like hot
That's
girls.
right.
I just need to watch Cinderella Girls. But it is on my quest. Spoiler.
Spoiler for things to come. Tori will
Yep.
watch more Idolmaster. No.
Uh-huh.
Say it ain't so.
I know, right? I know. Shock.
So I think for me recommending a good summer anime, I would say Future Boy Conan. Water everywhere. It's basically Water World.
Yes.
Come on, summer reminds you of the pool, water. Why not a post-apocalyptic world filled with water?
Watch Akira.
The best summer anime.
Clearly.
No, Akira is a good summer anime.
Yeah, you're right.
Anything
that's my summer one.
I think Akira is also a good winter anime. And fun
But
anime.
Akira
Spring
is
anime.
like a blockbuster, so I think that it kind of reminds me of summer.
Let's see, binge watching. I'd say watch a good shonen anime because you need something to fill out the summer. I say watch Fist of the North Star. Post-apocalyptic world where people are dressed up like Mad Max and they kill everybody, and there's a dude who basically pokes you to death until you explode. So
Yep, Bruce Lee is the main character.
what's more fun than that?
Yeah,
And
and
then,
I was
let's see, a show you should watch just because. How about Yamato?
what?
Post-apocalyptic world.
What is something with post-apocalyptic wars? Like,
you know what
why
we have
summer?
learned here?
Is summer that bad for you?
Today we have learned that JD thinks that summer reminds him of post-apocalyptic world.
You know what? Fuck it.
And to him, in summer, the world has ended.
Yeah. Hey, people. You should watch the OVA for High School of the Dead. It's a post-apocalyptic world, and they go to the beach.
Yes. Yeah. And fan service.
Yeah.
You know.
Always remember,
Unlike
it's
the show, which didn't have fan service at
yeah.
all.
Always remember, it's summer.
Making
You
fun of
need
my
your
suggestions
summer.
for summer anime? I am
I fun you every
offended.
step of the fucking way. I'll
I'm
always make
so-
fun of you,
I'm so
JD.
offended.
It's what
No,
friends
no.
do.
No.
You gotta get used to that shit.
No, I can't. I have no friends anymore. You're
Wow.
just gonna have to
Aw.
agree with me and praise me and be part of my echo chamber.
Well, JD is out of the podcast.
We're
then.
taking the podcast in a different direction.
Oh man.
Everyone owes themselves watch Cromartie High.
I don't know. So I would actually avoid. When I think of summer, I think of not school anymore. So I would tend to avoid any sort of anime with school in it. So as much as I enjoy GTO, I don't know if I would be in the mood to watch that during the summer.
I would.
Yeah.
Every comedy fits the summer.
Yeah,
Having
Nichi
fun
Bros.
is summer for me.
Nichi Bros.
Nietzsche Bros will
smells
always be on my
summer.
recommended list.
Smells summer.
All right, everyone, we're all gonna try skirts on. Only one of them comes back.
Yeah. So does anybody have any plans for the rest of the summer? Any show they're interested in picking up?
I'm gonna watch the rest of that Centaur show. And then not really. I mean, I kind of just happen upon shows. That's basically how I watch series.
Nothing's
you
been
should-
in your mind?
Yeah.
No, I just kind of happen upon them. Literally, I just click through my favorite non-legal site and click on it, and oh, this sounds interesting. Watch.
you
And
go.
if it's not immediately interesting, it goes in the drop bin because again, trash goes in the trash can. Never forget it.
Nah,
I'm not making the joke again. Don't worry.
I'm looking to like from summer. I'm looking to pick up Dura Children, but I'm not gonna do it until like after the season is over because right now I don't have time.
But Tori,
Yeah.
it's so good.
I've heard
For
from everybody else, but you're the only one who thinks it's bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's-
Here's a bunch of relationships you don't care about. Please
care
watch them
about it.
confess.
I care about. Well, first of all, ask me in
Yeah, I
6
can't take you
months.
more than you.
because I'm in the middle of winter right now. My winter vacation ended. I pretty much worked through the winter vacation. I think you should all watch the Vatican show because that is a B movie, and nothing is better in the summer than a B movie.
You know what? Actually, there's one thing I do want everyone to watch. It's Kara no Kyokai, Garden of Sinners. Watch the entire thing in one sitting. That's such a summer show. It's so fun.
It is really nice. I actually watched a show that reminded me heavily of that, and that's Radio Electric Wave Girlfriend. But it's only 2 OVAs. But damn, it's good, and it did everything to remind me of that. But it's not post-apocalyptic. It's not post-death world. So it just can't be summer for me.
It's not Bruce Lee world.
Watch Barefoot Gen. That'll put you in the mood.
Oh my god.
But you sound like Demo.
Should I hop on this joke? I mean,
I don't think you should hop on anything about Barefoot Gen.
Ooh, it's tempting, but you know what? I'm gonna take the high road.
Oh,
I'm not gonna
virtue signaling. What a fucking baby.
I've already talked about anime where enough people die.
No,
Setokai Yakumen Domo. Dick jokes the animation.
Oh yes, Setokai Yakumen Domo. Oh yes. That is such a good one.
Well, is it time?
No.
I don't have another beer to
we're
crack
ending it
open,
here.
so no.
We're ending it here. That was fun, guys.
I'm actually. There we go. Got it. Here we go, guys. It is time to talk about Sailor Moon.
Yes. Ooh.
Sailor Moon, guys.
Cue opening.
Fighting evil by moonlight.
Yeah, shitty. Just like the actual opening. Shitty.
Sailor Moon! Oh, that was amazing. I really like it. Every single time.
Thanks for ripping all our listeners' eardrums apart. That was really nice.
Hey, I'm here for it.
She is the one named Sailor Moon. So, we get now that everyone knows the theme song, and that's exactly what the episode opened up with. The anime came out in 1992. If you can believe
Before
it.
I was born, boyo.
Not me. It came out during all the times I remember it. And every year followed a sequel up until 1997. And boy, is there a lot of episodes. But for the sake, we only covered season 1, which covers 46 long episodes.
Yeah, pretending like I watched them. Yeah.
In which only, 21 of them are actually canon?
I guess so. Something like that.
I think that was what I read. I remember that's what I watched.
I think it's like 18, actually. But yeah.
How many?
18 canon episodes.
18 canon, so it's even less.
I think there's like 3 episodes that are kinda canon. They are canon. They're almost completely filler, except for tiny bits in there that are not filler.
So anyone who watched anime in the 90s is very well aware of Sailor Frickin' Moon. It spawned 3 movies, a ton of sequels, 39 video games.
Oh
if you can
my
believe
god.
that much. Yeah, there's a lot. And it even had a reboot, adaptation, remake, whatever you want to call it, called Sailor Moon Crystal, which I actually watched for the sake of the podcast and comparing. And that was back in 2014. So, how should we start this, guys? It's by Toei Animation, directed by Junichi Sato. What the fuck did he else do? He did...
Aria.
Who cares? Anyways.
Okay.
He did Aria the animation. Yes.
Did he?
He did Arya the animation. He did Amanchu. This guy is the slice of life king.
Oh, well, that is not what Sailor Moon is. So,
Nope.
the way we're going to do this is breaking it down into arcs. And we got 4 arcs. Sailor Moon, I'm going to say it outright. Sailor Moon Crystal actually goes past the 46 episodes. And to clear it up, Sailor Moon Crystal covers both Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon R, the sequel. So it covers almost 100 episodes in 25 episodes.
Yeah.
Not exactly shocking.
It's pretty nuts when you break it down like that. So
I had basically finished the show by the time I had met all the fucking sailor soldiers. So that should tell you
Sailor
something.
Scouts, yeah, Sailor Soldiers, Sailor Scouts.
Whatever.
Now I can say I've watched the show in both English and Japanese, and the voice acting isn't any better.
No.
Or at least the voices themselves really hurt. Specifically, our main character, Usagi. Arc 1 consists of Usagi becoming Sailor Moon and meeting all the other Sailor Scouts. So.
And that's basically the entire show. For me, at least. Meeting Usagi. I don't know what I mean, I can start. Meeting Usagi, I was like, okay. So, I'd heard a lot about Sailor Moon before, so I had certain expectations. I did not expect to like it because I'm not a target for the show. But I was interested in it nonetheless. So, meeting Usagi, I was like, okay, this is, typical. Kind of, she's a crybaby, she's not very strong, kind of weak-willed, whatever, right? That's what I expect, more or less.
Crybaby is an understatement.
Well, that's what she refers to herself as. That's what she refers to herself as. But she kind of just always is that, and it doesn't really make sense in what situation she will be a crybaby, but she kind of is. And when she cries, I don't just mean that she's like, I'm scared. I mean, no. She drops to her knees and she's just like bawling out, screaming at the top of her lungs, and it is annoying. It is so annoying, and I wanted to strangle her. I wanted to strangle her so bad. And, over time we meet the other Sailor Scouts as well, which I can just say right now, I don't remember any of their names because I don't care. Because I have spent no time with them. I skipped all the filler, of course, and because the filler, I watched a couple of filler episodes, and the filler was so bad that I wanted to drop the show, and I didn't allow myself to drop the show, so I had to skip the filler.
Yeah.
So the Sailor Scouts, they were just, hi, I am strong girl. Hi, I am priestess girl. Hi, I am smart chick. Okay, move on.
Yeah,
But Sailor Pluto was the hottest. Fucking fight me.
Sailor Pluto is not even in this in this one. Sailor Jupiter was best girl in this one, though. Anyway, yeah, I have the same problem with Usagi. She's always crying, and that gets annoying very fast. Like in episode 1, she just cry, and basically, like, it's kind of dumb because she's crying. It appears this guy out of nowhere, which is Tuxedo Kame. He throws a rose, says something cool, and she's like, "Oh my god, he saved me! Now I can fight again." Moon Tiara action, done. It's that for like, I don't know, for entire 12 episodes, 15 episodes. It's just that. Of course, when the other Sailor Senshis, Sailor Soldiers, Sailor Scouts, whatever it was called in your national dub version.
Localization.
Yeah, your localization. The fact Usagi is always crying, it kind of gets dealt with because you need to give space for the other Sailor Scouts to kind of shine. So, she's crying, but the camera is not on her. It's usually on Ami, which is Sailor Mercury doing something intelligent, and that's it. But like, it kind of gets repetitive. It's always the same thing over and over and over and again until Sailor finished.
Monster of the week.
For the first time, like the first two bad guys, which is Jedito and Nephrito. It's basically a monster appears, Usagi cries, Ami says something intelligent. Then you have the powers. Each one have only one power. They only have one fucking power. They attack the monster. They defeat the monster. Tuxedo comes and says something intelligent and cool, goes away without doing anything. And Usagi says,
My work here is done. You didn't do anything. Done.
My work here is done. Goes away with the cap thing. And it's that for 15 episodes. The first 15 episodes.
Yeah, the original really just drags and drags and drags. But
Hard.
But comparing to what happened in Crystal, because what happens in Crystal is within the first 5 episodes, you've seen everybody. You've now met everybody. There's at least, I can say while watching the original, I went, okay, there were times for the other characters to shine. You know, sure they have one power, but it showed what they were capable of against an enemy. This is of course taking the high road to what filler can do. Now when watching Crystal, I'm like, okay, so we met Sailor Mercury. Next episode we met Sailor Mars. A couple episodes later you meet Sailor Jupiter. All right, so what? Like nothing. All you do is meet them. You don't really get to know who they are. What you're just like, oh, okay, she fights. She's tall. Whatever. That's Sailor Jupiter. Move on. Next arc. That's where Sailor Moon Crystal really faults. Is it's only about Usagi and Sailor Moon. Everyone else is an afterthought. And definitely while growing up and watching this, and I actually rewatched Sailor Moon a couple of years ago. I definitely got more feeling in the original for the other scouts and the other characters. And what I did notice now is a lot of the enemies are named after real minerals. So like I believe there's a guy named Kaolinite, which is an actual mineral. It's this translucent green, and he has this wild green hair. His power is to be transparent. So there's a lot of inspiration in geologically, which is actually kind of funny in the show. At first, then it just goes batshit and crazy as the series goes on. But Sailor Moon herself is, I don't like her. She's a bad character. She's worthless. The whole crybaby thing is like it gets old quick, as you guys have said. So, Joe, you have anything to add?
What I can say is I haven't watched the show in about 17 years, and I wasn't even supposed to be on this podcast, but because we pushed back a couple times, I'm now totally able to be here. I did not even watch a single episode of the show. All I remember about it was Usagi was annoying, Luna was horrible, the transformation sequences were essentially the entire series, and I didn't give a shit about anything that happened. The only reason I watched it was because it was before Dragon Ball Z when I was a youngin'.
And for a lot of guys, that's exactly why they were even exposed to Sailor Moon. This was definitely a girl show. The only and why I ended up watching it as a kid was, as I said before, my childhood friend, she loved it, so I watched it with her. Yeah, now that you mention it, the show is primarily the transformation sequences over and over again. Not much different than comparing to Dragon Ball Z, where they just power up constantly, but it wasn't that bad.
Well, Tori and I were talking about this before we started the podcast, but people always say, it's set the precedent for like, oh, well, magical girls need transformation sequences. I guess so now, but the reason why they did that was not because they needed transformation sequences. It was to save money. It was to save money and time, because you're just reusing the same animation.
Yeah, and it's very apparent. I didn't see a lot of transformation sequences in Sailor Moon Crystal until the end of the first season, honestly.
Yeah. And one of the things, especially what gets really noticeable in Sailor Moon when you talk about transformations, it's when they all transform at the same time. Because what a lot of shows will do, and hell, even other shows that doesn't have transformations, such as Digimon, even though that's not a fucking magical girl. What they would do is they would do this thing that would really save time. They would speed up even though they reuse it. They would speed it up, and they would even do like a split screen thing where you could see them all transform at once. Sailor Moon will not do that. They will take basically every frame of the transformation of every character and put it, this girl, she transforms, next one, she is transforming, next one, she is transforming, and just constantly go that. It's like you're sitting there keeping an eye on the time, and it's like, it's been 30 seconds, it's been 45 seconds, it's been a minute. Like,
Yeah.
what is the point here? There's nothing is happening.
Yeah, true. I also watched Crystal for like the first half of Crystal to match with the Sailor Moon. I would watch Crystal as a whole, but like I said, I was sick and I couldn't watch anime. I was dying in a bed with fever. But like, I think I prefer. I also read a little bit of the manga, and Crystal is closer to the manga. I think I prefer the way Crystal did things. I think it's too compressed as well. I don't like how they treated the other Sailor Senshis. But I think I prefer more the Crystal. When it's about the enemies. When it's about the Crystal, when it's about Silver Crystal, when it's about Tuxedo Mask, when it's about the Sailor Senshis. But when it comes down to characters, I think I prefer the OG Sailor Moon more. The problem I had.
I'm in the same boat as you actually on that one.
Yeah. The problem I had with the OG Sailor Moon was probably the villains, because they are very, very dumb. Like, I'm not saying dumb or this villain is dumb. No, what they did was dumb. Like, since we are gonna spoil everything, you know, the first guy we met in the OG Sailor Moon, the first bad guy is Jadaito, and Jadaito goes, I need to look for the Silver Crystal, and for that I'm gonna go and steal the energy of those people. Okay,
Right.
tries once, tries twice, tries 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then he discovers who Sailor Moon is. It's very, very easy to discover who she is because they call themselves by their name sometimes. But anyway, he's the only guy from the evil side who knows who Sailor Moon is. What Queen Beryl does? Kills him. Before he goes, no, don't kill me, I know who Sailor Moon is. And she goes like, no, fuck you, you disappointed me a lot of times. I don't want to know. And then she goes to Nephrite and says, now you go look who Sailor Moon is. That's very dumb. Going forward, we have Nephrite, and Nephrite will start with Naru, which is a friend of Usagi. It's kind of nice. I think it was a nice touch for the filler. But then he discovered who Sailor Moon is, and he got killed as well.
Dude, you don't find out her identity, you die.
Yeah, when they discover who
She
Sailor
got
Moon
Yoko's kiss of death.
Yeah, when they discover who fucking Sailor Moon is, they die. They're killed.
So fun fact, Nephrite is one of 2 mineral species related to jade.
Someone was on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it was a green jade-like mineral from my memory. I know what beryl is, so. But anyways, they're minerals and gemstones. Yeah, Queen Beryl is a very strange enemy. She doesn't have really any character development at all. That's one thing both versions of the show definitely fault from is there's no character development at all. None.
Yeah.
The only character that has any sort of development is Usagi, and her only development is she got older in the future. And I mean that in a literal sense, because they do travel to the future. Eventually.
She also has that very sudden change of heart when she's just like, you know what? It's time for me to stop being a crybaby and actually do something. Which happened in the last episode of season 1. She was just,
Yeah,
fine.
and
then
then
she didn't
I
do
guess
anything.
I have
well,
to.
here's the other thing. She immediately resorts back to being a crybaby. because she's still 14.
Yeah.
She's still in middle
that's
school.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, JD. What was that about her age?
Yeah, she's 14.
She's
And how old is
14,
Tuxedo Mask?
So this
18
will go
apparently.
into arc 2, where Tuxedo Mask comes into play, and he's 17, and he's a first-year college student.
70.
I
No,
was 17
No.
when I was in my
he's
first
not 17.
college years. Well, I find it weird.
He is not 17.
Yeah,
Well, that's what they say. So
Okay.
we have a college student dating
Okay.
a middle school kid. So
not
we
only
can go.
not only him. Like you have Sailor Venus. What is her name? Minako.
Sailor Venus.
Her name is Sailor Venus.
Minako.
Yeah,
Minako.
nobody
Minako.
cares.
I know has a very mature arc, like filler arc. It's a very mature romance, and I was like, she's 14. She shouldn't be like. She shouldn't have that kind of romance going on. Not that kind of stuff going on with her life. When you are 14, sometimes you forget. It's easy to forget the girls are 14 in this. They're very sexualized. They're very tall. They're very slender. It's that I find it.
Oh
I
yeah,
find
the
it-
long legs, the extremely short skirts. Crystal really sexualizes them hard.
I think it's
Great.
very funny sometimes because they're talking about this very sad story, and I was sitting there going, "Dude, they are 14." I was fucking making snort bubbles when I was 14. I don't know why they have such dramatic shit going on in their lives.
Yeah, it's
Tough.
pretty wild. So, continuing on into the second arc, we learn more about the Silver Crystal, more about Queen Beryl's evil plans with it. We finally meet Sailor Venus, who's this side superhero like character, which in Crystal they hardly even touch on, while in the original they they have games made about her. And then it focuses on Tuxedo Mask developing a relationship with Usagi, and he treats her like shit, and she backlashes,
Yeah.
and yet they still somehow fall in love with each other. Oh my god.
Yeah, like which is very different from Crystal, because on Crystal they kind of have this lovely thing going on from the beginning.
Yeah, Crystal was very weird how it went about it, because it didn't even seem like they had so much as a relationship. They never really talked to each other. It was always like, hey, how you doing? You suck. Move on. And that's
But
it.
it wasn't it wasn't like the OG Sailor Moon where Mamoru would go, "Ha, you suck." It was like,
Oh yeah, it was
You
even worse,
suck.
but it was
was like it was more-
I play yeah.
it's more romantic. You suck.
You
It was-
suck, Nason. You suck.
Yeah. Well, you know how when you're really young and you see a kid like picking on a girl because he actually likes her and doesn't know what to do with his feelings? Well, this guy's 17, 18 years old. He shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
just
that's
just
true.
more reasons why Tuxedo Mask actually is a terrible human being.
Dude,
Top 10 reasons why Tuxedo
Yeah.
Mask sucks. Check out more on YouTube.
Oh
Hentai
wow,
comment.
it's
yeah, they come in. It's awesome.
Hentai coming.
Yeah.
He
And
always
there is
started
this
the cool
little-
things.
there is this little hints of Queen Beryl actually like communicating with an even bigger evil entity called Queen Mataria or Mataria. We'll go with the long A.
Metal.
Wants revenge on Earth and Moon. So this is where Sailor Moon starts going. You know, it's already weird enough with, you know, this whole teenagers becoming magical girls and fighting evil for some, but we don't really know the reason. And then it just takes it up a notch with now you got a Moon Kingdom, now you got evil spirits wanting revenge against Earth and the universe and some shit. It really loses any sort of focus on a plot.
Yeah.
Anyone disagree? Have any thoughts over that?
I have something
Negative.
I have something that I want to point out in that part, which in OG Sailor
Okay.
Moon was the best part of all. For me, that was a turning point. It started becoming kind of bearable. But one thing I want you to say is that at this point, Jedi is dead. It's long dead. Nephrito is dead. So we have Zosaito. Zosaito is the most homosexual guy I ever seen in anime. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm offending anyone, but still, Crystal, he doesn't even look like how he did in OG Sailor Moon. And what happens is filler. And how did they put a filler on OG Sailor Moon? Well, they said the Silver Crystal was actually used to seal the 7 most awesome Yomas of all. Yoma being the evil minions.
Right.
And then they reincarnated on humans, so they need to go out, get the crystals, put the crystals together to become the Silver Crystal. When that came about, I was like, so Jedito and Nephrito died for nothing, because technically they were looking out for something that doesn't exist. Queen Beryl was like, go out and find the Silver Crystal, but the Silver Crystal doesn't exist. After 30 episodes, she goes, oh shit. Actually, the Silver Crystal was divided on 7 to seal those Yomas a long time ago, and we need to find those crystals first. I felt like that's what I said when I said the villains are dumb. Is that how could you possibly forget about it? This is important. You shouldn't forget that kind of thing. Jedi and Nephilim died for nothing, and that's a very incompetent move to do.
No, if there's one thing that's consistent in the show is if you're a henchman on the bad side, you're gonna die. That is Sailor Moon 101.
Yeah.
There's no if, ands, or buts around it.
Well, there are plenty of butts around.
Short skirts around those butts. So, there's a battle with a henchman, Kunzite, and Tuxedo Mask is wounded, and this becomes a recurring theme in Sailor Moon, where Tuxedo Mask gets hurt, or kidnapped, or mind-controlled.
All of them both together.
And that's not just this arc. This is that becomes every turning point arc where Tuxedo Mask is in a bind, and he's mind controlled, and now the Sailor Scouts must save him through some impending battle that will inevitably end with the Earth being destroyed.
Yay!
For whatever reason.
Yes. And they don't know who Sailor Moon is. It's like 40
right, of course. Yeah, there's no disguise or anything.
Yeah.
Dude, they're really hard to tell, okay?
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
Like when she puts on that tiara, it's
Let me tell you something, Tori.
Really the same
something
person?
very interesting about the scene where Tuxedo Mask is mortally wounded, okay? He was inside, bless you.
Yeah,
he
sure.
was inside of an elevator with a girl, okay? The bad guys knew he was Mamoru, Edimion, and Tuxedo Kami. Okay? He was inside of an elevator with a girl. He goes up, the elevator explodes. There's Tuxedo coming, the girl. There's mist. Suddenly there's mist. Then you have Tuxedo coming, and Sailor Moon. And even like that, you can realize the girl was Sailor Moon. Because after that episode, they still looking up to see who Sailor Moon is.
I'm aware.
That's like that's very confident. I was so pissed at that scene. And then we also discovered that Sailor Moon Usagi is Princess Serenity. What?
Well, she's Neo Princess Serenity.
Neo Serenity.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, she's the new Moon Princess. Yeah. So now all of a sudden, we have not only Sailor Moon and all the other Sailor Scouts. Now it turns out they're reincarnated of the past Moon people, but only these specific people. Nobody else. Supposedly there's this whole kingdom, but no one lived there.
Everyone died.
Yeah.
The queen
and there's only one dude. It's just like everyone died, but only you 7 get reincarnated. Right?
fucking queen.
Yeah.
Being selective.
The plot is so all over the place and filled with so much convenience, it hurts. And things that just make no sense, and it's just... I get you're supposed to suspend your disbelief, but this gets ridiculous, because even in my youth, it was just like, what?
No, man, if you just overlook all the flaws, it's perfect.
If you simply ignore that anything's wrong, it is perfect.
Yeah.
And how dare you say there's anything wrong with this fucking instant classic, a modern day classic.
Now, don't get me wrong. The show is and was incredibly popular. There's no doubt about it.
Popularity means nothing to quality.
Popularity means nothing to quality, especially when it comes to Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Is it a fun ride? I mean, sure, I had fun watching it when I was,
After episode
10.
30, I guess.
But did I enjoy watching it now? Oh my god, watching Sailor Moon Crystal was a task. It was painful to see. But anyways, going on to the next arc. That was the Moon Life. We learned all about that in the past selves. And we reveal finally Mataria, and now they chase him to the North Pole. Okay? Of course they're in their skirts, no winter gear, if we're gonna punch holes in things.
They're magical girls, they don't need that.
Maho Shoujo.
So, whatever. We'll look past the flaw there. What I did like in the original is they have their one-on-one battles with each enemy, and they have their moment to shine. Okay? Crystal, I didn't really get any of that. They're just incapacitated.
Well, I mean,
They had their moment to shine.
Yeah, like Jupiter sacrifices herself and takes out a few guys, and everyone moves on. And so,
like, I think that
wasn't it the first girl in it?
Go on, Toddy.
Doesn't the first girl in like the first fight? I don't remember who it was that went up first. Doesn't she just get taken out immediately? Doesn't she just? Oh no, that's a trap. No, we fell for it, but we managed to escape. But then they do it again, and Usagi still retards. She's like, but what if it's real this time? Then she gets caught and she gets killed. I'm pretty sure the first defeat of the Sailor Scouts is basically just happens with one of them getting taken out, and that is the.
It's probably Mercury. Anyways,
that was the strong girl. The girl.
It's probably the
girl
smartest
like,
one too.
No, the strong girl.
Jupiter.
Is smart.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Pluto's
she's
the
the first
best.
one to go.
Fight me.
Doesn't.
Dude,
And
Jupiter.
then,
I'll get into Pluto.
No,
later.
no. No, wait. Never mind me. I'm dumb. Go on.
So, there's one aspect I want to bring up which makes no sense, and it's before even Sailor Moon was revealed to be the reincarnated Moon Queen. Is all the Sailor Scouts are gathered. Every single one of them is a better suited leader, better suited person for this group. But for some reason, the cat Luna goes, and Sailor Moon, you're the leader. You're gonna lead this group because that's a thing. And they all go.
She says why.
And they all go. Yeah, that seems about right.
She says why. It's because she is Sailor Moon, and Sailor Moon is the leader of the Sailor.
Right, she is the one called Sailor Moon.
So what?
Yeah.
Did you?
JD, this is Japan. Tradition means everything. Traditionally, Sailor Moon is the leader. Therefore, whoever is Sailor Moon has to be the leader, no matter how incompetent they are.
I just wanted one of the characters just to like, especially in the remake of Crystal, just let's take Mercury for example, the smartest one with actual a mind. Like, well, I don't know if the girl who runs away crying all the time is gonna be a good leader. I don't know the one whose only power is to throw her head ornament is gonna suffice.
Yeah, like Bubbles won't make any difference.
Bubbles made more difference in fights than throwing the tiara.
Baba!
Just flashbacks of Devilman all over again.
Dude,
Did Devilman inspire the magical girl transformation sequence?
Dude, I see a lot of things of Devilman, especially with Queen Barrow and the Kings. Jedi, because they always come with a Yoma and go, Yoma something something, you go now, chase them down. It's just like, it's the formula that Devilman used. But anyway,
Oh boy!
Continue to say, I enjoyed Cutie Honey more than Sailor Moon.
So the last arc is the ultimate finish, the battle with Green Barrel and Mataria.
The last episode, yes.
It's supposed to be an arc, but in terms of the original,
Yes, last episode.
it's just an episode. So they have this battle. Of course, they destroy the enemy. It's all well and good. It's the best episode in the series by far.
Yep.
Because it all leads up to that, as weird and over the top and all over the place as it is, and then it resets at the end, like it never happened, because they're supposed to die, and it's just like, nope, that didn't happen, because silver crystal power.
again.
Do you need to know what the silver crystal actually does? Nah, it's just a silver crystal. Fuck you, that's why.
Magical silver crystal.
It's a fucking nuke.
Magical Deus Ex Machina.
It's a magical nuke.
I remember. Can we just like pause back and go back to like that moment where where the moon what was it called, the Moon Palace or whatever, crumbled and they got defeated, and when she used when Serenity's mother used that silver crystal to revive them all, how the ultimate penalty was her life. What happened to that?
No, it doesn't matter
Where
anymore
did that
because
go?
it's Sailor Moon logic.
Yeah, no, clearly.
No,
Clearly.
If a main character on the good side can, even if you see him die on screen, the odds are you're probably going to see him again in one form or another.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way the show is written. That's just the way the show goes. So we can.
That's just the way it is.
If I may,
Things will
Sailor
never
Moon
be
Crystal
the
actually
same.
continues into Sailor Moon R, and that's about. And I don't want to go too heavily into it, but I did finish it because holy crap, does this whole season? It's bad.
No.
It is bad.
Say so.
The whole they start bending time. This is where Sailor Pluto comes in.
She's the best.
You start dealing with future Usagi and Tuxedo Mask and how they're married, or they've at least banged once, because now there's a kid involved, and the kid, who's mini Sailor Moon, has a weird, way over the top incest fetish towards her father, and it's shown heavily. It was kind of comically put off in the original, but in the new one, it's way too serious. There's no comedy involved there at all. And that's where it got really strange. I was like, I went into the Discord as I was finishing. I go, just look at this picture here. This is Sailor Moon's daughter, who sided with evil to age herself to make her older, so then she could mind control. Of course, mind control Tuxedo Mask. That's what he does. He gets mind controlled and kidnapped.
He also says some cool stuff.
So she can have
There's a
him to
fetish for that.
himself and bang him. And there's multiple just heavy kiss scenes against his will. But let's face it, Tuxedo Mask would totally be into it because he's into younger women.
Icon.
And Mind Break.
Yeah. And of course, and it goes about the same way as the first season does, where it's the big bad comes, Earth's going to be destroyed. Sailor Pluto ends up sacrificing herself in some way, and there's a moment where Usagi's talking to her daughter, because her daughter's like, oh, if I didn't, fuck up and have my own selfish things, Sailor Pluto would have died. And Usagi comes over and goes, oh, it's okay, these things happen. You learn something from it, right? And I'm thinking, someone died. and you're just like, at least you learn something from it. So if I go out and kill somebody now. If I go to Norway, kill Tori, and I come back, I come back, and I'm like, Joe, boy, did I learn something in Norway.
Where did you hide the body?
I learned just how much somebody has to bleed before they stop moving.
The police will go,
So that's
that's great. And
that is great. Now come with us into jail.
No,
But I learned something, officer.
Yeah, you learned something.
Oh man,
You want me. Dude,
You're gonna learn what life's like in prison.
Dude, trust me. I'm a
You gonna learn today, boy.
He's not going to jail. He learned something already.
Yeah, the main things I take away from Sailor Moon is Tuxedo Mask is a dick. He's a pedophilic incest asshole.
What? He's the coolest guy in that shit. Well, no. The guy with the glasses is the coolest guy. But
if you're an enemy of the Sailor Guardians, you're gonna die one way or another.
A very incompetent death, yes.
You know, usually by disintegration of some power.
Yep.
The story will change on a dime, which will make no sense.
Doesn't have to. Sailor Moon.
And hypersexualizing 14-year-olds, I'm not into right now. Honestly.
Oh, why not?
I ain't been into it since I was 12.
I haven't been into it since I was around 14.
Weird.
Who'd have thought?
There must be something wrong with you.
So
all the anime fans are into that.
I've been rambling on and on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could basically say my thoughts on Sailor Moon. Watching Sailor Moon was painful. I did not enjoy it at all. I had zero fun. Next to zero fun with the show. Now, granted, like I've said before, I'm not the target for Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is not trying to please me. So, that is fine. I recognize that Sailor Moon did a lot for anime. I got a lot of people, especially Americans, into anime, as it is. I don't think it ever was as big here, but, whatever. However, I will say this. For as bad as I thought the show was, I thought the final 2 episodes were actually really good. Yes, sure, there are still issues, but in terms of this show, the final 2 episodes are by far and away the best.
Because it's finally over.
And it actually, well, not just that. It was at that point that I was kind of like, okay, and now it ends. Of course, now it gets good. Minus the whole, reset thing at the end. But when you just basically get, the sailor soldiers fighting the enemy, and it's like you get to realize that moment you realize that, god damn, their life is also at stake. They're fighting with everything, and even though I'm not then, getting to see them like trying to protect Usagi, which would have been better if it wasn't Usagi. They had to protect somebody else. That'd have been better, but okay, sure, she is the main character, they have to protect her, so, see them go down again, because technically that has already happened before, so it's not that big of a shock, because that they would go down the same route again. And all leading up to the final battle, and I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? Yes, I like that. Doesn't make up for the rest of the show, though.
So what's your
close.
score in the end?
I was gonna give it a 3. The final 2 episodes pulled it up to a 4.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Well, basically, I had a lot of problems with the show, especially with the bad guys. I think they were highly incompetent. I think not only they were incompetent, but the Sailor Warriors, they are very, very weak. They only have one power, and it's usually the combined powers that kills the Yoma. But
that's true.
Because of that, the last 2 episodes felt really good, because you have those 4 awesome Yomas, and they go against the Sailor Scouts. The Sailor Scouts can't do shit about these Yomas, and the only way they thought of doing, like, dealing with them, is sacrificing themselves. It's basically almost exploding themselves to kill those things. And I was like, they are paying for being incompetent. They are paying for being weak. I thought it was really good. So the last battle was really amazing. Crystal ending, I think it was kind of better, although they don't do shit. It's basically the same thing, aside from the reset. But at the end, Sailor Moon, when I first scored it, I scored using my nostalgic glasses, and it was an A. It felt from 6. Why a 6? Because it should be a 5, but since I really enjoyed, regardless, after episode 40, I really enjoyed the show. I put it 1. That plus 1 is my enjoyment, so it sat down on a 6, and I'm good with that. I still recommend it. I think you should watch it. No, but still, I recommend you to watch it. It's a very conflicted feeling.
How about you, Joe? What did you
wanna
score
see
17 years ago?
17 years ago, I didn't score it, so I kind of left it at a 5. But
5.
after hearing you guys talk about it, it seems like something you should watch just as a just to kind of learn where certain genres you like or dislike came from.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's right. Cutie Honey. What's Cutie Honey?
I would suggest Cutie Honey over this because Going to Guy's great. But yeah, 5.
So, I'm kind of in the same boat as Hickey on this one, where there's a lot of nostalgia coming. And when I'm watching the show, I do enjoy some feelings I get. Sure, there's a lot of flaws in Sailor Moon, for sure. I can't deny its popularity. I can't deny what it's done for the industry, how much it impacted people in the 90s, because it's got to be doing something right in order to reach that height. However, in me watching it, in terms of the original, the filler is what hurt it for me. At the same time, there are some filler episodes, which I mentioned before, highlight the Sailor Guardians / Sailor Scouts and what they're capable of, who they are as characters, even though there's no development in the series. It's as shonen and anime you can get for a shoujo show, for sure. I give the original a 6. Crystal, as compressed as it is, not a fan of the CG. The ending's rushed. Plus, the whole second half is the Sailor Pluto arc. I gave that a 5 because it doesn't do anything except rush everything it can, and it's more of the same. So it is a lower score, in my opinion. I say watch the original and skip over some fillers. Definitely look them up. So yeah, I gave the original a 6. That comes out to a 5.25 for the cast. So it's a 5 out of 10. I'm gonna round down. Because honestly, I'm being generous with Sailor Moon.
Yep.
If it wasn't for many of the factors I just mentioned, it'd probably be in the 4 to 5 territory.
And just to say, mention something else negative about it that I didn't really touch on. For a 90s show, it looks like absolute garbage.
Oh, it's ass.
It is awful. It looks horrible.
Yeah.
It is poorly animated. The designs are bad.
So is the new one.
The sound is
Oh,
also...
the new ones.
At least Crystal apparently gets better after a while. But yeah, the fact that they started out like that pretty much shows that, well, nothing's really changed since the original Sailor Moon. They basically put as much effort into it. Well, I'm not gonna say effort, but basically they kind of did the same thing with the remake that was supposed to, to touch up everything. They pretty much did the same with that as they did with the original series, which is not good.
It's a real shame. Something as iconic as Sailor Moon, I want it to have a higher score. I really do.
Same.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to like it, but I couldn't.
It just doesn't. Got to take those nostalgia glasses off sometimes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but I can't lie. I'm not sitting here talking for 3 hours to come out at the end and lie to whoever is listening to it.
People all around the globe.
Yep. Every single one.
All of them. All of the
Every
people.
person in this entire world is listening to us. And we need to be honest.
Well, yeah, like Hickey said, I'm not wasting 3 hours of my weekend just to lie to people at the end, so I'm right there with him.
That's why he said he hasn't watched it.
Yep.
That's why I probably gonna drop Crystal. Just saying.
No, I'm definitely not continuing in Crystal. I'm done with Sailor Moon. I'm done with the franchise. I have no interest in continuing it.
Yeah,
I've watched the original more than enough.
let's leave it be.
I might check out more of it at a later date, but right now, no, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like revising my scores, like watching everything to rescore the shows. But I really want to leave it as it is, as it said. I don't really want to touch the subject anymore, because I like the way it looks in my head, and that's fine for me.
Yeah. I don't like updating my scores on old shows because, I mean, no matter what I think of it now, it really won't change that much. Like, the fact of the matter is, if you go to my list and you look at most of my anime, you will also see that I have put a date on them when I watched it, the date I watched it. So, like, it's mostly just to show everybody, to reflect that, like, this is what I thought of it at that time. Right, so it's like, I can rewatch it, I can rescore it and whatever, that's fine, that'd be my thoughts now. But at the same time, it doesn't really change that I did actually, enjoy, to put an example, I did really enjoy Future Diaries when I watched that, right? So even if I'm going to watch it now and hate it and score it a 2 or whatever, I don't care. Alright, that's like, that won't change, but I still really enjoyed it the first time. Right, and I'm not scoring stuff or putting stuff up on Malf or to please others. It's just basically to kind of put a little mental reminder of myself of like, yeah, this is like my gut feeling of a score that I thought this show deserved back when I watched it 3 years ago, or whatever. Yeah.
Well, okay. I think that about covers up our podcast here. What do you guys think?
I would agree.
I think so.
So our next podcast, we already got it lined up. It's going to cover rating anime, how to rate it. Clearly, we have all the right answers. You should listen to us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe we're going to talk about and review Serial Experiments Lane.
It's time.
Oh
I'll
boy.
actually watch this one.
It's time. Oh boy. That'll be something. So again, you can send questions to us on Twitter. Tori, Senpai Joe here, myself. You can join our Discord. Just hit up Joe, or myself, or Tori.
You can hit up anyone.
Anyone.
Really.
Join our My Anime List group where we talk about seasonal and the podcast episodes. Don't hesitate. You're always welcome, even if you disagree with us or we disagree with you. Don't ever feel like you don't have a word to say. You can find the podcast iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and a plethora of other locations, and they're all free. That question came up, by the way. Don't worry about it. We do not run a Patreon page. We are sponsored by David's Tea, who run the RSS feed, who paid for it for a year. So hopefully they continue that after a year with our amazing endorsements. What else, guys? Am I missing something?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's get the ending music to Sailor Moon going.
Aye.